What's up, YouTube? Mater here. I'm getting everything set up. Gotta wait on people to show up. Hopefully everybody's doing good. And get the link and everything put out there. So who wants to show up? Oh, what a rough day. Oh, trying to feel better. I don't know if I was getting some heat exhaustion or what it was, but I ain't got to work today. I was not feeling good at all. Let's see who all wants to show up tonight. Oh. That's weird. I haven't even got the notification about me being live. It's unusual. Oh, there it is. Speaking of which, yeah. Of course, I'm getting the same notification that Cars and Cameras is live. After I already didn't put the thing out saying I'm going live. But really? Alright, so who I got out there? I got one person who's watching me. Nothing in the chat. Oh, okay. Well, I knew you were going to be there, yeah. I got someone else watching. Let's see. Mike Hodge. Because I got a feeling I'm going to be having Kay Jones be showing up. Don't know when. But hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. I'll wait till a few other people start strolling on in. We can start talking, yipping, yapping, whatever we want to talk about tonight. Of course, can't talk about any particular subject. Nobody's want to put anything out there in the chat. I don't know. Crystal, she's already got something out there. I guess his will be. Hopefully it won't be like that very, very, very first live stream I wound up doing. I got nobody to show up for. I went up going live and it's like I'm looking, it's like okay, and nobody showed up, and I had that thing going for almost 30 minutes. Oh. Yeah, I was on Brandon's stream earlier when he was on his way up to Waxahachie and everything. He was dropping off an ATV for a customer to have some customizing work done on it. And he was going to kind of hang around a little bit, but then all of a sudden he was told they got storms rolling into the clean area. So he said, oh, I'm going to turn around and head back home. And he said it was just outside of Hillsboro, and they were just starting to run into it. Hillsboro was probably about 30 minutes away from me. So, yeah, that's okay. Maybe Brandon's got it on his phone and he's watching. Out there where Angel's wanting to drive. So I don't know who else Hey Sam, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, all I know is, like I said, Brandon, I got sunshine here, but uh, yeah, he's running into uh, rain. I don't know who else is going to be wanting to join in. Like I said, usually on Mike Hodge, he's one of the first ones. Usually Cajun. So you usually get Wayne, Princess Jamie. See who else. Like I said, Brandon. Like I said, he's on his way back home. So I don't know who else will be wanting to join us tonight. Well, I'll put the notification out. Figured I had it out long enough that way everybody would know. First, let's see. Steven should be showing up. Everybody decided, I ain't gonna go. Let's check out something else going on. Hopefully it's not because of cars and cameras wanting to crowd in on me. I can't believe it was taking this long for everybody to want to start showing up. Oh boy. Yeah, there's someone else gone live tonight. I know one thing is that last night, last night watching um, UHF. Of course, that was before my normal Tuesday night live stream, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy talks about a certain coin and everything, and it's supposed to be very valuable and everything. And I was talking to Cajun, and he was going, "Yep, it's a 1955 double die Denver wheat penny." And I said, "Yep, those things are worth some money." I just couldn't remember which coin it was and everything. Now, Sean, I got nobody watching me. I'll get a crowd in here soon. I'll just shut this thing down. Anyways, I got dinner here waiting on me too. Kind of a late dinner. See if I can how I do on this. So I had to take some sausage and everything, kind of make a kind of like a hot dog Gonna do a wrap and everything. Instead of hot dog buns, just use normal buns, bread. All right, so now I got three more. Who's out there watching? Who we got? Got four. I got four. Do I hear five? Five, five. Do I hear four? I got four. I got five. Hey, Shaggy. When you tired for? Been doing a lot of work today, Shaggy? Still doing all that housework, huh? Ooh, that's a dirty job. Yeah, definitely. Doing all mud and everything. Yeah, that's definitely. Hey, Mason. Damn. Yeah, that's what Brandon he was running into when he was heading home. Jeremy, easy way to fix that is just go buy some more. Well, it ain't gonna last forever. We still got nice sunshine here. Hey, Jamie, how you doing? I guess you're through with your little conference, huh? That done for the day. Well, Jeremy, what you should have done was just save the crayons also for Mike Hodge. That way he could write out his shopping list. That'd make it easy. Let's say, of course, anything else that Hodge wants. Speaking of the devil, there you go. There he is. Just talking about you. Ah, hey Wayne. Well, Jamie, there's always, they're going to be there for a while. So if you can't do it today, you always do it tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, you'll get a chance to go there. That's all there is to it. What you don't do today, you can always do tomorrow. Uh oh. Hang on, I gotta see what this is. Yeah, we got a thing coming up Saturday. So Gonna get you some better carburetor for that Jeep, huh? That's one thing I don't have. I've never done is mudding and everything. As far as inside of a house, as far as the other kind of mudding, yeah, I've done it in the race car before. That was fun. Jamie, of course, she's probably gone mudding before, especially in her Jeep. Yeah, that's true, Shaggy. That's very true. Well, unless you find out you made a mistake, then you got to start all over again and redo it. Then, yeah, you'd have to do it tomorrow. Yeah, well, that's true. That's very true, Jamie. Yep. I do know that a lot of the guys, they do prefer, doing the off road and everything. They do prefer, uh, just regular dirt. They don't want it all muddy and everything. Ooh, well, that's not no comment, Shaggy. I could make comment, but nah, it wouldn't be right. All right, I see. Yeah, but one thing I was gonna say I was looking at, you didn't miss much. Um, sure. You want the link again, Shaggy? We'll just put the link back up there if you can't find it. Mm. I don't like mustard, but honey mustard I do like. There you go, Shaggy. But no, I was gonna say one thing I was looking at before coming out here tonight was, since I've been restock, finally putting everything away and the my new toolbox and everything. I'm going through the list of what sockets and wrenches I'll still need to be able to get picked up from Harbor Freight. I got a mosquito buzzing me. There's Shaggy. What's going on, Shag?
Not much. Just got this beautiful room to finish out, which it ain't pretty, but gets the job done.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying the other day, every stud, we did the best we could when we went through and took this window out. There used to be a window there, but we replaced it with an outlet.
Right.
Anyway, every stud, not a single one of them is the same distance as any of the others. So some are, we've got one that's 16 inches on center, another that's 14 and a half, one that's 18, had one that's almost 2 feet in between the studs.
Wow.
So I had to go through, fix that, and none of them were level up and down and spaced correctly going this way. So all the drywall, like here and here, the two sheets of drywall aren't level with each other. You can see where it sticks out there, that little bump. The whole house is like that. You can see that big seam going up and down.
Jeez. Who built that house?
I honestly don't know. As far as I know, it's just this porch that was converted into an additional room, but right there is pretty bad. That's gonna get covered up. Right there is pretty bad. And the ceiling is just as bad as the walls.
Jeez.
Not gonna lie. And because of the way they, like right there,
Yeah.
you can see how bad that is. But because it's so bad and all the studs aren't level and perfectly lined up on the nailer boards,
Okay.
these screws don't want to hold. So, like right here, we've got some they'll pop all the way through the drywall. And right here, the drywall is actually putting pressure on the screw, causing it to break the
Damn.
drywall. But yeah, it's pretty bad. That's what I'm dealing with today.
Right. Jeez.
I mean, it's kind of fun doing this if you have the right tools and whoever built the place built it right.
Yeah.
But I get this strong feeling that whoever did this were a couple of guys named Jim and Bob, and between the two, there wasn't a level to be found.
Well, no. What I was just thinking of is what's that actor that I say he was in that movie with Adam Sandler. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie right now, where he winds up inheriting all that money.
Oh, you're talking about the movie Mr. Deeds?
Yeah, Mr. Deeds. Yeah, but he was in that movie. He was also in Armageddon.
Oh, you're thinking of Steve
Buscemi. Yeah,
Buscemi.
yeah.
Buscemi.
You know how he's got that, that lazy eye, especially in Mr. Deeds. I'm going, oh, did he be the one that built that?
Probably. Oh my God.
It's like, okay, I'm looking at it this way.
Mater, this part right here is so far is the worst because we can't exactly get a stud in here because of the way they had the window framed out.
Ooh.
This part right here drops lower than this sheet by almost half an inch.
Hey, Crystal, she figured out who built it.
Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. Yeah. Jim and Jack.
Yep. But
Sad thing is, I think it is actually a professional construction company. I say professional with my fingers in quotation marks.
yeah. Well, that's just like for me. About 4 years ago, I hired a company to come in and level out the house, and the guy did the examination. Well, the house originally was like I say, this one goes back to I think we dated in 1908, and originally a two-bedroom, one-bath house. Now it's a three-bedroom, two-bath. And what they wound up doing, they basically converted the old back porch into, they expanded that for the bigger kitchen area. And then, because the back porch, like I said, that was made into where the kitchen area is, the back hallway,
Yeah.
and part of my old bedroom, but they expanded out further. And that's where the rest of the house comes out. Well, they had to literally go in there and they had to put in a custom, I think it was 28 feet length 2x6 for support in the back, because it wasn't there. It should have been there when all the other work was done, but it wasn't. Yeah, so they had to go in there and put some extra boards up in the house.
Because we're gonna be putting some flooring in here. Because this room ain't gonna stay like it is. It was originally a porch.
Right.
He wanted to do tile, but given that this room is actually built on an old porch, I mean, you can see all the original deck boards running across.
Right.
Yeah, that's still there. No cement support either. I'm going to have to go through redo that at some point. But you want to put tile in here. I'm like, no, you're not going to be able to do anything with tile in here. I don't care if it's on the wall or the ceiling. It ain't going in here.
Yeah. I like what Wayne says. This could have been Cheech and Chong.
Nah, because with Cheech and Chong, it would actually look halfway decent.
Yeah, but Crystal was going, was that before or after they started smoking?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that it might be before they started smoking, because probably after they started and everything, it's like, oh wow, that looks good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this chair. I'm getting stuck with it. All right, there we go. I got, what they call the truckers or a biker's wallet, where I got the chain and everything on it. Well, this chair I'm sitting on, it's got the wooden slats and everything, so that chain will get hung up in it.
Yeah. Ah, man, I had one of those back in middle school.
Right.
I don't know what was going through my head, but it's like, oh, hey, that's so cool. I want one of those with a chain. So mom and dad got me one. I quit using it after a week. I just could not deal with it.
I like it because some of the fact is, that if someone tries taking your wallet, they're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
You can't really lose it because it's always there with you. But yeah, it can be a pain. Because that chain does get hung up on things like at work. When I get up on the forklift, if I get on the forklift on the right hand side, I climb on. That chain likes to get hung up on the seat belt. It's like, okay, hang on. So I gotta stop and get that taken care of, and then keep going. Or like I said, if I'm sitting here on the chair, Yeah, it'll get hung up in little slats and everything because they're about what? They range anywhere from almost 3/8 of an inch up to about an inch and a quarter. So it starts off, wide in the very front, and then they get narrow going to the back. Of course, in the back is where the chain's going to be, so it's going to get caught in that little slot and everything, and it's a pain to get back out.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing when I was living in Texas, working in retail. I used to put all my keys on a lanyard with
Right.
my multi-tool, given how often I was using it. But it only took a short while before that lanyard started causing me more issues than I was comfortable with, and I stopped putting my keys on a lanyard.
Right.
As for whenever I'm at work, I'll just take the lanyard off. But right here, that was a fun oopsie.
What
There were
happened there?
some missed nails. There were some missed nails. So when we put this board up and zipped it down, it punched through.
Ooh.
So I had to dig out around the nail and pound in, then go through, patch it up. Yeah. Told her, I'm like, hey, as soon as I've got the money, I'm going to tear this crap down and rebuild it. She's like, I'll be dead before that happens. It's like, okay, I don't care one way or another. It's getting rebuilt, done right.
Well, whose house is that?
Grandma's.
Ah, okay. So why not just do it the way it needs to be done now instead of waiting until later? Or is it because she just doesn't want it done that way?
It's not that she doesn't want to do it that way. It's, I mean, we found these issues and we told her about them as we're going along, but she's already put so much money into, because she owns several rental properties, so a lot of her money is being spent on repairs, and she's gotten to a point where she just doesn't care anymore as far as
Right.
this property is. Just get it done quickly and get it over with so we don't have to deal with it anymore.
Oh, so is that a rental house then that you're doing all the repairs on?
Now, this is the one we're living in because she's letting us stay with her. But yeah, I told her as soon as I can, whether you're here or not, I'm tearing this portion down and rebuilding it.
Right.
Because, I mean, the light switch, that's the back corner. So
Okay.
you've got the two doors there, the original back door, and then the back door they added when they turned this into a room. But when they did the electrical, they put the light switch all the way over here.
What?
And when they, yeah, and when
You
they
gotta
ran
be
the
kidding.
electrical, here's a fun part. When they ran the electrical, they didn't actually run it through the studs, drill holes, run the wire through. They didn't do that. They just had it hanging out and going across the outer surface of the studs and running through the floor.
Jeez.
So we had to cut a hole in the floor there so that we can reroute the wires through the studs.
Hey, Scott, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of work trying to fix all the little stuff, or what feels like a little issue but could be a major issue later down the road.
Right. Now what kind of wiring did they have in there? Was it like a 12-3? Or are you running a 14-3?
I think it's a 12-3. I know when we ran because this outlet originally wasn't here, so this fridge was plugged into that outlet with an extension cord. So
Okay.
when we decided to give the fridge its own outlet and do it the right way, we went through with a 12-3 Romex.
Now, how much do you have that's running on? Now, is all that going to be running on the same breaker?
That's another issue that's going to be fixed because out here, all on one, keep in mind, this is everything I'm about to show you is all on one breaker. So we had a ceiling fan that was taken down so we can do the drywall.
Right.
Got the fridge. I mean, it's an old school powerhouse. Amana. I don't know what year this fridge and freezer combo came out, but it's an old one, uses a lot of power. Got the AC unit. And then also on the same breaker, we've got 3 sets of porch lights. Oh. To warn you, my Wi-Fi signal ain't good out here.
Right. Well, if we lose you, you can always come back in when you get better signal.
We
Hey Shay, you're breaking up.
Can you hear me, Hater?
Barely.
Okay. Well, we got. Let me go back inside so I could, because I'm still getting the in and out signal going.
Okay. And Mikey ain't that bad looking. I've seen him before. Guy, he just tries to show everything that he's working on right now. That's why he's got the camera flipped that way. Because if he had it flipped the other way, we won't be able to see all the stuff that he's trying to show us.
Yeah, all on the same breaker. We've got AC window unit, 3 freezers, 2 refrigerators.
Wow. And how big is that breaker? 20 amp?
I'm not sure, but it's small enough that anytime I plug in my little Craftsman air compressor, it trips immediately.
Yeah, it's probably a 20 amp. It could even be a 15. Now, what's the manufacturer of the breakers in there? Is that a GE or is it something else?
I think it's GE.
Because
yes,
okay, right now, of course, GE I know is your standard. That's what the most common one. I know you can get Square D. But I do know that, like at my house, I've got to get my breaker box switched out totally because back in the 80s, they had to do the remodel and everything, and they wound up using Federal Pacific. Well, Federal Pacific, they're out of business, okay? You cannot even buy the breaker boxes anymore, okay? You can buy, there was a company that took over to production of their breakers and everything. And just to give you an example, okay, I walk into Home Depot, Lowe's, and I'm going to spend less than $10, say for a 50 amp double pole. Okay. To get the same thing in Federal Pacific, I'm looking at about $70. Or one that, since that company took over, yeah, around $70 for the same thing. I can go to, like I said, Home Depot or Lowe's and buy it for under $10.
Yeah, but I told her, I'm like, because she told me as soon as we're done with this, and as soon as we get the garage cleaned out, I'm not sure if you saw all of this crap that's stuffed into the garage.
No,
But
I
as
didn't
soon
get
as
it
we get
because
the,
you were dropping out, I guess because of the Wi-Fi signal out there.
yeah, I'd be on mobile, but I got a message this morning from our carrier saying, "Hey, you went over your threshold. We're cutting out your data." It's like, okay.
Ooh,
Yeah, not, which is weird because I haven't been using my phone any differently than how I normally use it. And
yeah,
this is the first time in the last 12 months that I got that message. But as soon as we get the garage cleaned out,
right,
she wants to finish out the garage as well, which thankfully I already went through, looked around for any issues before we even get started on that. But I told her when we get started on that garage, before I do anything with sheetrock or flooring or ceiling, whatever, before I do anything, we're
right,
going to put the garage on its own breaker box. That
right,
way, if I need to run power tools or extension cords or anything, it's not tripping a breaker and trying to start a fire.
right. Hey, Patch. Yeah, that's one thing about like out here in the garage is that um, beforehand, uh, like this garage here where I'm at, okay, this was originally, like I said, 2-car garage and everything. Well, there's no concrete floor in here; it's just gravel and dirt and whatever. Well, they wound up on the other side of the wall where I got my camera. Y'all can't see it, but anyways, on the other side of that wall, they poured a concrete slab all the way from the front all the way to the back, and I think it's about, I'm saying it's probably around 10 foot in width, and but like I said, the whole depth. And what they wound up doing is they extended it out, but that's where the washer and dryer are set up at. Why they put
Yeah,
it out there, I don't know, but they were running 30 amp service out there, and the way the wiring, this is what's really weird. I don't understand why they did it. Okay, they ran 3 individual wires from the peak of the house to the peak of the garage. Okay, and that was a 30 amp service coming into the garage, going over there. But when they, that was only for the dryer outlet. Okay, that was the only thing for the dryer. For lighting, they ran a separate breaker. I think a 20 amp. Wow, that wind's picking up. Well, it could be that storm that Brandon's been running through. But anyways, they ran that from the other peak of the house because the way the back of mine is, um, you got the peak of the house from where the original end of it was at. Okay. Well, when they added on one side, it literally they dropped it down and then came back out for the second peak at the back. So it got 2 different peaks. Okay. They ran
yeah,
from that peak to what we call the tool shed and everything. That was 30 amp service, no, 20 amp. That's what they ran from. They ran from that into the wash house area and then the garage for lighting. So they wanted doing all that, and I'm going, hold it, you got two separate breakers and everything. Well, I got lucky to find a 50 amp double pole in a Federal Pacific, and I wound up running brand new wire all the way out here and came out of the back of the house into conduit down the back, 2 foot in the ground, all the way over, back up, and into the rest of the wash house and everything into its own little breaker panel. So
Yeah.
I've got a breaker panel that's in the wash house right now. That okay, I've got that 30 amp double pole set for the dryer. I've got a 20 amp set for lighting in there. I've got a 20 amp breaker for my lighting in here. I've got a 20 amp breaker for my electrical outlet. So I got it all covered.
Yeah.
I just know that I can't, run a lot of power. I can't be running a lot of things out here, on that. So like I know when like the dryer's running, okay, I know that right there just about got the whole thing maxed out. Like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna be out here working. That's fine. 50 amps is plenty for, about the only thing I'm really running out here at times is gonna be my little miter chop saw. And that's not going let's see, it's 9 amp. Okay, fine. That's not pulling a lot. I got my battery, chargers and everything, all for my battery tools. Well, they don't pull a lot of power. My laptop is not pulling a lot of power, so okay, I'm not worried about it. And of course, the lighting I got out here, it's all LED, so those don't pull hardly anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I would say. Yeah, definitely see about getting that porch area on its own circuit breaker. I'd definitely go a 12.3 on that.
Yeah.
You have the extra power because 12.3.
Well,
I know you can handle 20 amps no problem, but I think 12.3 can go 30 amps. But don't hold me to that. I'd have to double check.
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
But thing is, the porch has its own breaker, but when they, because hold on, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Back behind this sheetrock here, where this
Right.
outlet is, there's a junction box. When they ran the wiring for the porch, they put the porch on its own breaker. But at some point, when they ran the power to the garage, because for some reason garage power came after running electrical to this porch, they had it split off from this outlet here. So we had to put in a junction box here, connecting all the wires that needed to be connected to each other. But that's the issue I have with the electrical is, one, it doesn't have its own breaker for the garage, and two, the garage power is running off this outlet here.
Ooh, that's not good.
Not good at all, but I told her, and she agreed with me because a lot of these issues that we're finding and bringing to her attention, she knew nothing about.
Right.
So
Right.
she is having us fix these issues as we go along to the best of our
Right.
ability. But as far as fixing the framing, yeah, she wasn't in the mood to just tear it down and rebuild it.
Right.
But I told her, I'm like, we're going to have to put the garage on its own breaker. I don't care if I have to tear open that drywall again and get under the floor and reroute that wire to inside the house. I don't care what I have to do. That garage is going to get some breaker.
Yeah.
Maybe two of them, so that at some point I can run more power tools
Yeah.
and do some woodworking.
Well,
But
I mean, if you ever decide to put in, start running anything that's 220, yeah, you're definitely going to need a separate breaker box out there.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
kind of the route.
here's my question then. Okay, for the main breaker box that's in the house, what's the amperage rating for it? Do you know?
I do not. I'll have to look over it tonight. But the breaker box is in mom and dad's room. For some
Okay.
reason, the breaker boxes aren't in common areas. They're hidden in bedroom closets.
Yeah.
And that's another issue that's going to get fixed. When they put the breaker box in this house or the water heater, I'm not sure which came first, but they put both in the same closet.
Oh, the
So
hot water
there's,
heater and the breaker box is in the same closet.
yeah.
That's asking for trouble because electric and water don't mix.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
That's
oh,
another.
Gee. Yeah, what
That's
were they
another.
putting in that crack pipe and smoking?
Yeah, see, and that's kind of why anytime I'm doing work on the rental properties, if it's not something like if I'm going to just fix a leaky sink faucet, like the
Right.
kitchen sink, I'm going to, which is what I had to do yesterday. I had to go back and fix a kitchen sink. Summer. But if I'm doing something that's not that, it's most likely going to be turned into a meme making fun of my own death.
Yeah. That's I gotta say because that's one thing I like about with my house is the fact that all my heating, um, the hot water heater and the stove is all run off of natural gas. So that's one thing I did like about the fact when we had all that snow and everything back in February, I didn't have to worry about getting cold in the house because we had, natural gas heaters. And I was running those.
Yeah. Wayne, how old is the electrical box that is in the bedroom? If it's over 20 years, it's more likely 100 amp service.
It's either a
Yeah.
100 or I would say more. It could be on top end, probably 120. Because I think 120 amps is what a lot of the older houses did have. Um, but all your new ones are right at 200 amps.
Yeah. I'll have to look later, but I know there's two separate electrical boxes.
So, okay, you said two separate breaker boxes. Okay, now
one is for one half of the house, and one is for the half the house is like part of the house. It was originally a garage or something. I don't know, but they later turned into part of the house and put in a breaker box. So,
hey, Breezy. Reason I was asking is okay. That's what I'm trying to picture it in my mind. So you've only got one set of wires coming from the uh, for electric coming into the house, correct? Or do you have two separate sets of wires?
sorry, I was dealing with family members. What was the question again?
Okay, so you only have one set of wires coming from the another word I can't think of it, but coming from the electrical pole outside, you only got one set of wires coming into the house. Or do you have two?
I think we have one. It's
Okay.
possible we have two. There's a whole lot of crap on that side of the house. But yeah, there's a lot of work going into getting this house cleaned up and fixed.
Right.
But as far as power supply, I think it's only one set of wires.
Okay. Coming from the transformer, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also you're gonna have to look at the wires coming into the house because I mean, how old is the house itself?
Uh, the original siding was made of asbestos. I know it's that old.
Wow.
I think grandma's granddad or great granddad built the house originally.
Oh, hey, Patch, I didn't see you sneak in. Okay, you
Yeah,
said the original siding is asbestos. Has that all been removed, or is that still on the house?
I know a lot of it was removed, but that was before we got here. However,
Okay.
when we had to hold up, I think I lost you. Whenever we did this wall with a sheetrock,
Right.
we actually had to take a hammer and hammer some of these screws in because this wall, I'm not sure if it can be seen here, but this wall right here was originally an outside wall, and this wall had the original siding still on it. So when we took off the siding that was up here, when we got up here, that's when we saw the asbestos siding, and we just covered over it.
Okay. Now, I will say this: that if there is any still left, that say years down the road, and y'all sell the house, y'all will have to put in a disclaimer saying there could still be asbestos in the house. Because if you fail to do that, then you're leaving yourself up for a massive lawsuit. Because that's what problem I had a few years back. Um,
Yeah.
there was a one of the colleges here in Texas. They had a couple of houses that they had on their property they were going to get rid of. Well, I wound up putting a bid in on both of them, and I was going to have the plan was to get one, keep one for myself, and basically give the other one away. And whoever winds up, got the other house, they would have to pay for having both houses moved. Okay. So I was in the process of going through all that, and then I found out that both houses tested positive for asbestos, and that was not in the disclaimer on for the auction. So it's like hold it, hold it, hold it, and I did want to get my money back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was something. It's like hold it. There was nothing in the writing or description or anything saying it had asbestos, and now you're telling me it does. That's going to cost a lot more money because all that would have to get removed before transporting the house.
Oh, I know. A lot, like, it's gotten to a point where.
Here comes Cajun.
Hey, Cajun. But
Hey,
yeah,
Shag. Hey, Mather.
Hey,
Hey, Cajun. soon as we
Brandon.
can, and as we're able to, this whole house is
That ain't
going to
me.
be, this whole house is going to be cleaned up, inspected, and taken care of. Like what we did with the outside wall. Soon as we took off the outer siding on this porch addition,
Right.
there was water and termite damage everywhere. So we had to go through, have the Orkin guys come out, take care of that issue before we could do anything else.
Jeez.
Where you located at, Shaq?
I am in Middle Tennessee.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit too far for me to go give you a hand.
I mean, we're mostly done now. It's just a simple matter of finish up the mud and paint the room. And
I
put
heard
up
you
the
say
trim.
something about electrical a while ago.
Yeah, that's gonna be done later on down the road whenever we get the garage cleaned out, because that's where the issue is the garage. It's drawing too much power, but we're going to be putting the garage on its own breaker.
Oh, somebody's here. Hold on a minute.
I'm not sure if you were.
Oh, it's Johnny.
I'm not sure if you were here a little bit ago when I was explaining the issue with this outlet and the garage. But this outlet, the power that goes to the garage outside is running off of this outlet. Hey, Wayne.
Hey,
So, how you doing?
not bad. Sounds like he's got a house like I had.
Yeah, these older houses. I mean, the sad thing is this house, I mean, this porch addition is only like 2 or 3 years old.
Whoa.
So there's no reason.
Geez, Brandon.
There's no reason for it to be in as bad of a shape as it is.
You're getting it all wet.
Just like my place when I
How dare you.
ripped out the kitchen and the dining room, there are studs that only went up halfway on the wall.
Oh, now that would drive you crazy.
Gee.
I put in
I couldn't
I put 132 studs in my kitchen and dining room.
Jeez.
On the outside wall?
On the outside wall, I had to end up either doubling them in order to bring them in on center and also level things up because everything was rough cut.
Yeah.
That's
And-
what we do with this wall.
Non-certified.
But the
That's
rest of
what
the
we
house,
used to do
Non-inspected wood.
with this wall. When we took this window out, because there were originally 3 windows here. When we took this middle window out, we had to go through and put studs in. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, naturally.
Thing
Yeah,
about
you have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
doubling up the studs, when we went through, that's how we found out how bad of a shape the framing is we put up new studs. We got those suckers level, nailed them into place, and then when I stepped back to take a picture, it looked like our studs, the new ones that just went in, it looked like those were the ones that weren't level and were out of place.
Right. Yeah, weren't plumb up and down.
It was just horrible.
the
I think that
rooms,
house might have leaned on you at one time or something.
my house, the main structure before they added on the addition in early 1900s, it has 1 by 12 planks on the inside walls.
Yeah.
And then it's got shiplap siding on the outside, but then they put asbestos siding over the top of that. And I said, I'm not removing it as long as it's in good shape and you keep it painted. You have no worries, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we haven't started removing. That's why we didn't remove the original siding when we put up
Right.
that back wall.
As long as it's sealed over, you'll never have a
sealed.
problem with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it has a coating on it that it is sealed. It's a coating. It's hard. It's a different type of asbestos than just like rubbing your hand like up in a roof, you know, on a commercial metal building. You can rub your hand and that asbestos will float down in little bitty particles. This stuff don't do that. The only way you're gonna get affected by it if you take a saw to it and you breathe it in.
Right.
Yeah. And that's
Now, a buddy of
why
mine, he did not have the money, and so we just took a chance. And I didn't even want to test it. I don't know if it was asbestos or was not asbestos, but most of that siding came in short pieces, pre-drill holes, okay, for your nail. Well, and you had to nail them on top of something else. You know, you can't nail that to the studs because nothing's going to come out. You got to have a solid surface to nail them to, like the 1x12s you're talking about, or the shiplap, you know, or that colonial.
Hold up a second. Vader, do you see this? This is a head nailer for the door.
Hey, Arlene.
That's out of center everything is we can't drywall over this because this stud right here is sticking out so far, like a solid inch, almost half an
Wow.
inch, 3/8 or whatever. But
Gee,
I don't know
this
why they
stud
got it
sticking
past
out
that
so
other
far.
framing like that.
Yeah, I mean this house, this part of it, once they put the framing up and sheathed over the outside with the siding up, they called it done in there. They're like, we're not gonna do it anymore. This is done, and so it sat unfinished, just the framing, until we got here and we started working on it. But
My walls in my one half of my house is 13 inches and the other is 12 inches thick from outside to inside.
wow.
yeah,
And it's
Wow.
all blowed insulation into it. I know my heating bill has been a lot less than everybody else's around me because of how thick my house is.
Right.
oh yeah. I
Well, you
imagine
have to
so.
have it thick like that being that far north too.
Well, the house was built good, you know, to a certain extent, but it's just the main structure
Right.
was built good. It's whoever added onto it later on didn't quite put the workmanship in it that was in the other house, part of the house.
Yeah.
Right. Y'all keep talking. I'm looking up this bug zapper. I'm getting tired of these mosquitoes wanting to have a snack.
But Cajun might chip in on this one, but I believe that you can only let a main panel 2 times after the first main after you leave that main panel.
Yeah. All these windows are brand new windows. First thing we did was when we started working on this room, once we got the insulation and put up, which honestly, I wish you would have waited on the insulation until it was time to do the drywall. But anyway, second thing we did to this room was all new windows.
Right.
Because when they went through, put in the windows, all the cutout, the sizing was so bad that they didn't even put in actual windows. They just covered the openings with storm windows and called it good. And half the storm windows were actually installed backwards. So the
Right.
inside was on the outside, or vice versa.
Did
Jeez.
what state are you in, anyways? I don't. That's all I need to know.
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee. So you're not worrying about the cold as much as most states, but you see how I see your studs are bare. Where you set the windows in?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There, you put what it is. You set the window in, you shimmed it up, and then you put screws in to hold the windows in.
I know
Well,
what you're
no,
getting
see,
at, Wayne. I know
They
what
did.
Wayne's getting
They
at.
didn't cover the studs.
Right. They didn't come with no Tyvek or anything, any moisture barrier or
Yeah,
wind
because you should
barrier,
have.
and folded inside of. But he didn't do nothing on the outside the house. I don't think.
well, no, the outside, as far as that, as far as this, the shimming, hold on. The shimming and
Yeah.
all that, that's so that we can get our spacing for the trim. Because originally she wanted to wrap this, make it look like solid drywall
Hey,
on
Steven.
this portion and then the outside portion. But this is going to be taken down since we can't do that. But as far as a tie-knit wrap, that's what kills me. Is
Stuff ain't cheap neither. A roll.
this portion is one room from this wall to that wall. It was all one room. But you can see a little bit of blue up there. They've got this wall wrapped. They've got this wall wrapped to about halfway between the window and the corner. That's about where the wrap stops. And then the rest of it, this wall, this outside wall, the one with 4 windows, that was bare till about here-ish, halfway down the wall. It was tar paper.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
right about here, because see, you can see where on this side the siding goes all the way down to the ground, but got this cutout here where the original decking is. They had J-channel running straight up.
Oh, so y'all put
segmenting
all
two
that
sets of
siding
siding.
up then.
All right,
Well,
Brandon,
we didn't. We put up new siding. We tore down the work of the previous people who did the siding in the first place.
Yeah. So
tore
you
it
know
down
what's
and corrected
behind.
it.
You know what's behind that siding then.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
it was just bare sheathing, bare OSB, which
Right.
is why. I mean, it wasn't so bad on this wall, but over here, where there was a third window, because they didn't use actual windows, they used storm windows. It was leaking around the top of the middle window and the sides and bottoms of these 2 windows. So there's a lot of water damage and termite damage on this lower half.
Right. Not anymore though.
Not anymore. We got that corrected. But right here is from here to about here is just stud after stud after stud, and then covered over with OSB and tar paper.
Right. Okay, so you do have some kind of moisture barrier on the outside wall then.
Parts of it, yeah, but
Yeah. I didn't see it wrapped on the inside of the windows though to keep the. Usually people like when you cover a window hole and a door hole, a door frame. When you're wrapping a house with Tyvek, you just wrap it. You go with the flow. Keep on. Then you cut your little X in the
Oh,
door so you can get in and out. Then you wrap the inside. You fold it over to the inside. You cut an X on the windows too, and you bring that inside. You staple that, and you staple that. And that gives you a complete moisture barrier on your windows and all that too. I mean your window framing.
Yeah.
It's cold down
we
here. If
went
you don't
through-
do that, they're not going to pass inspection on it.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm tearing it down. In the next couple of years, they're rebuilding it. Let me see if I can.
Oh yeah,
find a
but I'm
spot.
talking about. See, you got something that's already existing. Okay, I'm talking
Yeah.
about new framing. You know, you can almost you can get away with no permit on what you're doing right there. You don't need a permit because you're not building anything.
Technically, in this case, we do, but
Oh, the county or city. Well, I'm pretty sure you're in the county instead of the city, but the county needs money. I bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did go through with like that 4 mil plastic vapor barrier. We put it on ceiling, that wall, and the other wall. But we
Oh.
went through barrier
Okay.
the inside after we
Okay.
put up the insulation and got
All
that
right.
taken
So you
care
do have a bad. Damn, you got a pretty tight house then. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Just by looking at it, I wouldn't have thought it was that tight. Yeah, I see the
It-
barrier now. I see the barrier. And I saw that barrier above the door too. I remember now. I saw that barrier above the door where you showed that. What you might have to do is
Yeah.
caulk it,
There just isn't much.
bring your
above the
sheetrock
door.
to that framing. Might have to caulk
Yeah.
that and paint it. Or put a little mud on the on that stud, on that top nailer, that header.
Yeah.
Put a little
Well, what we're gonna do?
drywall mud on that, fill that crack in, bring your drywall to it or caulk it and paint it. And that's probably all you're gonna, instead of taking all that apart again, and I just mud it.
Well, we're
shut.
going to be covering because in some parts of the house we've got this wide 4-inch trim
Right.
that goes around the doors. We're going to do that 4-inch stuff, cover
Right.
everything, all these little screws.
Yeah, I like the 4-inch. I like the plinth blocks
Yeah.
too on the top. The rosettes on the top and the plinth blocks on the bottom. That's what I like.
Yeah, but we're going to
can-
go through, trim
you can-
everything up and cover it.
The cheap way to do that is to take caulk and caulk all the way around those windows. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I tell you what,
Yeah.
I
Well,
had an
barrier. He's got barrier there. I didn't realize it, but he does.
yeah, but I'm talking about around the edge of the window and
Oh,
along
yeah,
the bottom of the floor, because it's not only for the insulative value,
keep
but
the
it's
bugs
fire-
out.
it's fireproofing.
Yeah, yeah.
When you
Yeah.
when you go around the window and go
Yep.
along the edge, my son left a candle burning in his bedroom, and it melded. He had it sitting on top of a record player, one of those plastic lid players. It melded that, got so hot that it tipped over, caught that on fire, and filled the room with smoke. Lucky his door was shut. Because his door was shut, it smothered the fire out.
Ah,
Because there was no place to draw oxygen. Because
Right.
because when I do mine, even inside the electrical boxes, I caulk the electrical boxes
yeah.
around them and where the wires come into the box and where they leave the extra little, on the plastic ones, they got those
Right.
knockouts. I'll caulk every one of
Yeah.
those. And everybody says that's a waste of time. Guess what? I can put my hand. I got no cold air, and on top of that, there's no oxygen if there's a fire. You could actually
Right.
shut the door and cut off the fire. You
Right.
know,
Yep.
and hey, it saved me. If the door would have been open, or if it would have been like it was before I started, the house, mine's a balloon frame, is what they call them. The studs run all the way from the first floor all the way to the second floor. The fire would just shot up through them and went right on through the house.
Yeah. Well, you got fire blocking and all that and everything else.
Yeah, but mine was made in 1800 and something. It's
Yeah.
a straight shot right from the top to the bottom.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, they
But
just put a leisure board for the second floor. A couple of one joist all the way running across at the height they wanted, or maybe two, and then lay their joist on top of that.
I see he's showing us something, Shaggy is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
What is
something.
Hey,
that,
y'all keep
Shaggy?
this going. I'm going to drink some coffee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. I think that's outside of his house right
Yeah,
there.
it's the outside. He's showing the soffit. Something about the soffit.
Yeah. Can't hear him, but
No, can't hear him, but I can see him. I can see he's doing something with the soffit in there. I see the metal pickers are going through tonight.
what's up, Jeremy, Scott, Steve, Miss Crystal?
Cajun,
Brandon?
can you guys hear me now?
Yep,
Yeah,
we
we can
hear
hear
you
you
good now.
Okay, my microphone froze up for some reason, but what I was saying is that that's not technically a soffit. They just overran the width of the roof,
Yeah, that's just a
and
pin up. That's called pin up.
that wall doesn't actually go up all the way like it's supposed to, because normally you'd have this part up there, you'd have that closed off with the soffit running along the outside of the beam.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they did. They just left that open.
Wow, so you can get air through there in your attic?
Yeah,
Birds, anything
we
that
got-
want to come in, huh?
birds, mice. We actually had to clean out a nest a couple weeks ago that we found up there. But we've had problems with mice and rats. I mean, they were all over. But yeah, we're going to have to reframe that portion and get it closed off, or at least covered with that soffit venting that
Yeah,
they sell at Lowe's.
yeah, the one with the holes in it, the
Yeah.
vented one.
Yeah, we're going to have to put that up there after we reframe that portion, which isn't going to be fun because she's not going to want to tear out the roof to do that.
No, but you can get up. If you can, you can get up there and cut you some short 2x4s and screw them in. If you can attach the old roof joist and block it off where you can block it
Yeah,
up.
you can
so
do all that from the attic up in there.
Right, as long as it ain't full of big, or you can do it from the outside if you can take the fascia board off and slide in the 2x4 and then screw them up in place and put and assist them up so they can hold weight.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really going to the fascia board. The fascia board was a little bit further away from there. That's just a part of it that came later on or something.
This was, long story short, from my understanding, is this entire room was originally deck. It wasn't what
okay.
it is now. So this entire room, you can see all that lattice there.
Yeah, that
Or
was
the-
a deck, outside
Yeah, this
patio
looks-
deck at one time.
Yeah, that's what this room was originally was, and
Okay.
bit by bit they enclosed it in, of course,
Right.
screwing everything up along the way.
Yeah, like you
So
said,
you
bit
can
by bit, they didn't need a permit.
Yeah, you can see they've still got the original deck boards sticking out. And you can see how out of square the entire addition is, because see right here is about, hold on, let me see if I could do this. Yeah. So from my flashlight is 1 inch in diameter,
Yeah.
at the tail. So from here to here is about 1.5 inches. But we get over to this end, we're now up to 2.5, 3 inches.
Yeah, it depends on how they cut the boards. Depending on how
Yeah.
the wall was. That doesn't necessarily mean it's out of square. That means
Oh no.
the-
We've already
the, wall,
checked.
the deck
walls
was
aren't
probably
straight.
square, but the walls are not square probably.
Yeah,
But
the
it's
deck
close
was
enough. It's close enough for that. Which I
deck
don't know.
was
I wouldn't do
perfect.
that.
The rest of the room, the rest of the room is bad enough. I'm not sure if you were here for this part of the conversation, but when we went through and reframed this wall and put up new studs where the old window was, we went through, made sure everything was centered, evenly spaced as it's supposed
Oh yeah,
to
that's
be.
why you had to put a lot of extra studs.
So when we put in our new studs, we'll pretend this is the old stud, and this is a floor. This foam piece is a floor. When we went through, put in our new studs, and made them level, and
plumb.
checked and double checked with multiple levels, our studs look like that next to the old
Yeah.
studs.
Right.
I mean, isn't that bad?
You need to
I
check your
put a
corners
picture-
real good. Check your outside corners real good.
My guess is Jim or Jack, one of the two, fucked up somewhere, and they decided to frame out the rest of the room to match and hide that mistake.
What else? There was Jack and Jim involved in that. Jack Daniels and Jim Beam.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Hey, it
Cheech
was
and
either
Chong.
Cheech and Chong. It could be
or
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech
Or
and
three
Chong
times.
drinking Jim Beam and Jack Black or Jack
Yeah.
Green.
There's an old saying in this neighborhood, I cut it 3 times and it's still too short.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's idiosyncrasy there.
Yeah. That's pretty much
Dang.
the mentality is, oh, I messed up. Okay, let me correct it by matching the rest of the work to that so it looks good. I don't get it, and we're suffering. Well,
Man,
Grandma's
I've built
suffering
many.
because of it.
I've built many homes, and quite a few of them around this area too.
Hey, Cajun,
Yeah.
one thing I mentioned to Shaggy earlier is, did you ever see that movie, Mr. Deeds?
Mr. Deeds?
Yeah.
With Adam Sandler and Steve Buscemi.
I don't believe I have, no.
Well, Steve Buscemi, he's been in several different movies, including Armageddon with Bruce Willis. But anyways, he's the one guy that's got that if you look at it, he's got the one eye that kind of goes off in this direction.
Fish eyes.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going, oh yeah, he's looking over and says, yeah, it looks good over here.
Okay.
It looks
Now,
good to me.
What did Steve Buscemi? Oh, okay. He was one of the workers for Bruce Willis, huh? On the rig.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I know the actor Steve, but I never seen him in Mr. Deeds. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. He was one of them that kept away from everybody. He wasn't the one messing with Bruce's daughter.
No.
There was.
He was the one that he was the one that had the gambling addiction.
Okay, then there was the genius on there explaining, when they were about to lift off in the shuttle.
Yep.
He was explaining, hey, y'all guys know that we sitting on a big hunk of metal bolts and O-rings that was built at the lowest bidder, don't y'all?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's
and when we landed on it, it says, yeah, we're shooting for this landing area here because where we're at was it iron ferrite? Yeah. He'd already done the survey of it. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, he's a good actor. I know he's been in several other movies and everything, but like I said, because in the movie Mr. Deeds and everything, yeah, he's got that one eye that is wants to look off way over here. It's like yeah, you look at him like, it's like, yeah, that looks good to me.
Yeah. Hey, Princess Jamie, how you doing? Jeremy said, I've only built one house, but I'll remodel. I got a bunch of them under my belt buckle, he says.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I was one of the most popular framers in the area. Well, as far as the whole
See,
house being built, it didn't matter.
Cajun, that's my thing is I'm not a professional house builder. I'm not doing this as a career right now, but I at least know how to use a level.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're using your brain like that. If you know how to square your base up, well, your slab or your foundation, but you want to square your walls just in case something is out. You do want to square up your walls. It don't matter if you got a half-inch bottom wall plate sticking over your foundation. It doesn't matter at all.
Well, no,
You just don't want it. You just don't want it an inch or 3/4 of an inch to the inside. You know, which it doesn't matter anyway. That's because that's going to be covered by brick or something else. But still, in all, I'd rather be outside a 1/4 inch and have that whole straight wall square than one even with the foundation slab and then 3/4 in over there. Which I've had the slabs be out of square. That's from the finishers though.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, that to me, like, if you got half an inch of studs sticking out at the bottom, that ain't a problem. But when it's all
No, I'm talking about the actual bottom plate.
Oh, I know. But thing is, it's not just the plates; it's the vertical studs. See, I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I showed Mater this, but everything is so jacked up that none of the drywall sits flush with each other. So we got these two sheets of drywall not sitting flat.
So you gotta do a bunch of mudding right there to hide that.
Yep.
Oh, it's a whole lot of mudding.
You gotta feather that out, float it out, put it that way.
Did they have drywall on the inside or plaster lab?
This part was the worst. I mean, you can see how much mud. This one stripe right here. We've got, let me see here. This is about 5-gallon bucket. I'd say we have 2 or 3 gallons left, and we've got another bucket that we burned through. So this little bit of mudding, almost 10 gallons.
Wow.
And that's just to hide the seams, which on the first two doesn't hide it very well. But this part, we're not going to be able to hide it. Part of me wanted to throw on a second sheet of OSB because of how high these two are sticking up. I mean, you could see it. It looks like it's 2 different shades of white.
Yeah, I can see it.
If you use a flat colored paint instead of a gloss paint, that will hide a lot of that.
That's true.
Yeah. That's what I like about flat, is it hides a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
But if you watch or if you've done any kind of real drywalling, my seams end up anywhere from 14 to 16 inches wide. That way they're tapered over, and when you sand them down, guess what? You can paint them and you don't see nothing.
Right. Yep. It all depends on your hanger, or if your hanger does a bad job, it all depends on your floater, your finisher.
Oh, That's true, but in this case, it's the framing. We know that because we got some screws, as I showed Mater earlier. Like most of the screws are doing their thing and sticking right, but we got some that are just, as we're driving in, it's putting so much pressure on the drywall that it's actually popping all the way through. And we can't get some of the screws too. And in some places, you see if I could find, I think it was over here that I was looking at. Yeah, over here, you can see where it's bowling out around the screw and putting pressure on the edge, bending it inward, because got the stud up here where we screwed it down and the screws are sitting nice, but then once you get over here, it's bending the sheetrock. And then we got like right here, that's a pretty bad one. I mean, you can see where it ripped the outer paper.
Tore the paper, yeah.
And
they just put too much force on it, whoever screwed it. Or it's actually popping it out like that. Something's making it pop out.
None of the studs sit on the plates correctly, edge to edge. Like, I've got some shims here. So you've got the bottom plate and the top. Well, yeah. We'll pretend this is the bottom plate or the top plate, whichever one. And the studs we'll do side by side to, guess we'll step it so you can see the studs. All right, so these three are going to be the studs, and this bottom one is going to be the bottom plate, or the nailer, toe nailer as it's called. Some people call it. Got the studs zigzagging like this.
Oh my God.
And then you've got one that's nailed in place correctly, but the rest of them are all zigzagging and warping up and down. We've got one.
Dang.
We've got one. Let's see if I could find it. Yeah, right here. Those screws, that's a stud. You can see how small it is at the bottom, but as we go up, it gaps out. That's how far over it's leaning.
Right.
Jeez.
Did you ever put a level on your outside corners to see how they looked?
Didn't need to. We leveled out one stud. And Cajun, do you have Instagram?
No.
Okay. If you drop your email over in private chat or in the comments section, whichever you prefer, I'll send you pictures. But when we tore out that window, we went through, put up right next to some of the old studs. We put up new studs, and then in between the gaps, we put up entirely new studs and spaced them correctly and laid them out. And when we put ours level, ours looked like that. The rest of the studs looked level.
I can almost guarantee you your outside corners are going to be a little out. Or like I said, Jim and Jack helped out. Jim Beam and Jack Daniel. Big part to play in it. If your outside corners are close enough, which you can't do nothing about it now. You got all that siding up and everything. Actually, when I was framing the house in Mississippi. I was working for Hodges, I want to say. I know it was Hodges. I forget the guy's first name now. That's been 20 years ago or something. Before Rita hit. 3 years before Katrina hit, I mean. And I was in the office submitting some paperwork, and I was in charge of the 2-story houses. Well, they had another 2-story that was being built by another crew, so I had to go jump on that house, finish up their work. Well, and all it was framed up. The rafters wasn't quite. They had a few rafters up on the skeleton, but I went back to the office and I told them. I said, "Look, no," I said, "something has to be done about this house." I said, "They framed the bottom, they braced it, kind of. They started building on the top. They got a couple of the rafters up, all the joists up, but all the weight from the top story." I said, "The whole bottom of the house is leaning like this. The whole bottom is leaning. It's about 1.5 to 2 inches out from the bottom to the top. All the weight is putting pressure on that, and that house is going to fall down." So I says, "Y'all need to bring a crew in there just to straighten up, replumb the bottom part. Then I'll go in there and finish it off." So they had to get a crew in there, and they said, "Well, if they can do that, might as well just have them finish it." I said, "Might as well get another crew. I'm behind. I got another house after this 2-story house, a single story after this one. So I really don't have time for that one." There was only 3 crews working, you know.
I'm not sure how you can see it, but the sheetrock we put on the ceiling, because the studs aren't the way they're supposed to be, it's actually bowing. It's actually bowed on the outer edges of the sheetrock, just because I know this beam going across its outer edge is bowed itself. So this one isn't a problem with the way the edge is, because it's conforming to the wood. But over there in the center, you've got studs that are sticking down just a little bit, and it's causing the outer edges on those to bow.
Now, the way I see you got that ceiling and wall tape, are you planning on putting some crown molding up there in the top?
Yes.
Or you are? Okay.
The whole room is going to be
I would go with some
out.
wide crown. Instead of the little 1 3/4 crown, instead of the small crown, I would go with like a 3 1/4 crown, and that's going to hide a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, see, I'll show you what we got here. Because see, on the bathroom, no.
I lost picture and muted himself.
On these doors, we've got 4 to 5 inch, possibly 6 inch trim going.
Yeah, that looks good. I like that.
That's 5 inch trim going around all the interior doors. That's going to be my big plan. Hang on.
710's in the house. What's going on, Mon ami?
And Jeremy, I'm surprised. You know, I'm glad you didn't get sick because that plaster had the asbestos in it. But yeah, I mean.
I forgot to finish up my. I forgot to finish up my asbestos story earlier. This guy had some siding. He wanted it off, part of it off on something. It was only on part of his house. And I was taking it off, and he had one of those dumpsters where the truck comes, you know?
Right.
Like whatever fits in it, and it don't matter what's in it, batteries, tires, whatever. As long as it fits in the can, it's allowed to dump in the, you know, for the garbage truck to pick it up. Well, he had one of those type dumpsters, trash cans. So we just threw all that in there. Because that would have been an expensive venture.
Yeah.
If it would have been asbestos, if it had been asbestos.
They won't
That's
allow
true.
that here. They make you
Oh yeah,
soak it
no,
down and
we
put
just
down
we just
tarps
was
and
lucky
everything
we got
else.
away with it. We were just
Yeah.
lucky we got away with it.
That's why I leave the
Maybe-
siding on my house. I don't want to have to take it down.
Right. You can leave it up, and like Mater says, you got to let them know that you have asbestos siding on the house. Don't mention anything about the inside of the house. Say,
Right.
look, we know there's asbestos siding on the outside of this house. Okay. Boom. That goes in a disclaimer for sure.
Right. Well, it doesn't have to be the siding. It could just be, you know, say the insulation or anything.
There
As
weren't
long-
many. There weren't hardly any houses built back then with asbestos insulation. That was mostly commercial applications.
They
Right.
had
Yeah,
it.
a lot of schools and hospitals are primarily what use the asbestos
Factories.
insulation.
Factories,
Because by the
plants,
time,
all
They
that.
had
Because
it in
it was
the time-
fireproof. Because it was
Yeah.
fireproof too.
by the time insulation and insulating a house was mainstream, they had already come out with fiberglass insulation. So there was a lot less residential application to the asbestos and
Yeah.
True.
the fiberglass stuff.
Hey, I
However-
know a guy that insulated his house with newspaper. A friend of his worked at the newspaper and got, I mean, look, truckfuls all the time. He insulated his house with that, and he was fine. And his house is tight. But I tell
Yep.
you what, his house is high off the ground too. Because I'm like, man, if that newspaper ever gets wet, it's gonna hold that moisture for quite some time.
Oh yeah, but yeah, as
And-
soon as we get the mud and paint done, we're going to go through with that 6-inch trim and cover everything: the corners, the windows, the door, the floor.
What you gonna use
Probably.
inside? You're gonna use inside cove on your inside corners?
Probably. I'm gonna take a look around and see what the options are as far as
Yeah,
the
a
trim
little,
goes.
little inch and a quarter, inch and a half. It's called an inside cove. Goes up on the
Yeah.
inside. But if
Oh,
you
you
got
talk about
sheetrock
that.
walls, if you have sheetrock walls, I wouldn't even bother with the inside corners. You know, on the wall
Yeah.
itself, I just
Yeah,
do the baseboard and the crown.
I'm surprised with the corners because these corners, with how low,
If they taped and floated good, that
Yeah.
flat paint will hold it.
yeah,
Look
see,
like you
this
did it.
one doesn't look like it's gonna need to trim except for like right here, but this is two separate pieces right here and another two separate pieces right here.
Yeah,
But
correct.
in cutting it, there's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch gap between the drywall in some places, but the way it overlapped very much hid all of that. So I could probably get by without.
Yeah,
doing
that one
it.
corner, you won't be able to put wire trim there for one reason: that receptacle in the wall.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard all kinds of weird things that people have used. I mean, yeah, I've heard about the corn stalks. I've heard about they said, you know, newspapers. I've heard about people using old pillows, just whatever they could
Yeah,
get their hands on.
Oh yeah.
I got a buddy of mine who wants to use penny rolls.
Penny rolls.
Far north. I mean, not far north coins. Joe Sharp. He's buying up rolls and rolls and rolls of pennies, and he says, "I'm insulating my walls with them."
Now I do know.
He's making a joke, I'm pretty sure, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I know that I seen one person. They were building a house, and they were using like Coke and beer bottles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. Mike says use Bondo. That's what mud is. That's what that 5-gallon bucket of mud is. It's Bondo for drywall.
Yep. Well, like I said, I've seen them where they
Yeah,
literally
that's called
will
hot mud.
yeah, but they'll lay all the beer bottles and Coke bottles, whatever, out, and then they're going to take they're actually taking like Adobe, the mud and everything, and going around them. But
Yeah.
they're also leaving some of them where actually let the light in from outside. So
Yeah, I've heard of people building houses from glass bottles or
Yep.
plastic bottles. Yeah, building
Yep.
houses today.
Yep, and they're having them where they're what? You figure what, about 6 to 8 inches in thickness?
Or more.
Yeah, and they're not really using a lot of wood. They're using, all natural materials, like the glass and actual mud that you
Mhm.
get from, go out there, dig a hole, add water to it. Okay, there's your mud and everything else.
Yeah, like that caliche over in Arizona. They got with
Yep.
that native salt is caliche. It's
Yep.
like concrete. It will blow hoses, break booms, break the tiger teeth on the hoe itself, on the bucket. They got these tiger teeth, and that you got to hit that caliche so hard. It's just like concrete almost.
Yep.
And you get that into and you recycle that, and you can actually make a concrete with it or road base with it.
Well, there was like when I lived out in the country, I had a guy that he brought me, I think, like six, maybe 6 or 8 yards of road base, and it was nothing but caliche. With,
Caliche or
but it had
it was
some gravel,
white.
but it had a lot of the caliche in there. And oh my God, I got that thing all spread out. Man, you talking about when it got wet, that thing got hard.
Yeah, you put that on your driveway. You said.
Yeah, I actually made my
Yeah.
driveway out of it because, like I said, I was
Yeah.
living out in the country at the time. So yeah, I put that that stuff down, and when it got wet, it didn't. It was basically like turning right into concrete. It was solid.
All right. What you up to, 710? Mike Hodge, what's up, morning meat?
Yeah, I've seen that also.
Welcome back.
Yeah, Eleanor talking about how he's seen they use clay, sand, and straw mixed together.
Yeah. And
Yep.
corn cob is used
Yep.
in homesteading. And it's clay, sand, straw mixed together. And I guess the corn cobs are, I know my house, I don't think I got a lick of wall insulation in it because I tore off next to a window and stuff, and I have no insulation. And I couldn't afford insulation when I was redoing this house because
Right.
I'm buying this house. Okay, I'm making house notes on it. And I don't want to put a lot into this house like my floors. My floors are going to be the last to do naturally.
Right.
And I'm going to go with bamboo, tongue and groove bamboo. A nail down floor, nail down.
Yep.
Because it's 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 thick or 11/16, something like that. But bamboo, you could spill on it. It won't swell, it won't rot, nothing.
Nope.
And it's all a renewable source, And bamboo floors. Oh, look, I've laid many miles of bamboo floor, many houses
Yep.
with a nail gun, a floor nail. And let me tell you something. That's some beautiful floors right there now. I love it.
Yep. Now, and like you were saying, the one thing about with bamboo, Yeah, because it's a water resistant. The outer part of bamboo is all water resistant.
All part of it is water resistant
Yep.
because they make it. What they do, they cut it into little fibers. Bless you, Johnny.
Bless you.
And they press that together. It's made several different ways. You got different qualities of bamboo flooring. You got. It depends on the cut. It depends on the cut of the bamboo.
Brandon.
Welcome back, Brandon. Get Brandon up here.
Well, Shaggy, you hit the wrong button, so yep, there you go. Got the link out there. But yeah, I mean, you gotta consider, you know, say 100 years ago when they were building houses, they were using just about anything and everything they could think of to do the insulation with.
A lot of houses didn't even have it.
Right. I've actually seen where there was one house out in the country I seen where it looked like the for what they had on the walls, it was like a fabric with, it was like a wallpaper, but it was a fabric and everything on the back side of it. I mean, you can see where the weave and everything was through there. It wasn't just like regular wallpaper. It had that on the whole house. So yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised what you could actually find, you know, in a house as far as how they built it and everything. I mean, like my house, okay? I said 1908. That's the original build date that I can find, okay? They were using single strand cloth insulated wrapped aluminum wire, and they were going, you know, they ran it from room to room on a single strand, but they were going through ceramic, those ceramic pieces that would, you know, go through the holes in the joist. And then they just run the wire through that. But they were not running the hot and the ground together.
Right. It was all separate. Yeah, I've got a couple of those in my attic, actually. A couple of those insulators, those ceramic insulators.
Yeah.
Got a couple in my attic.
Yep. And that's some of the things that
now my attic is insulated.
I'm trying to get rid of. I still got 2 more rooms. I got my bedroom, my mom's bedroom, and then the bathroom that's in between. I've still got, those are the last 2 rooms. I still got to get separated out because they actually had, like I said, her room, the bathroom, my room, the dining room, the living room, front porch, and part of the kitchen, all off of one 20-amp breaker on that aluminum wiring.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You sure it was aluminum? You sure it was aluminum and not silver?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was trying to find out. How can I tell if it's aluminum or silver? What's the easiest way? It's cloth wrapped.
Well, silver has a higher melting point than aluminum, I think. Or they tip and tap, one of the two. You can tell by the weight. You can tell by the weight. If you take a piece of copper wire, the same diameter,
right,
about 6 inches long, enough to register on a scale. I've got a gram scale, so
right.
I could take a 6-inch piece and tell you the difference because silver is going to be heavier than copper and the same diameter.
I don't know if I still have any of it around. I know I've got some. I just don't know where it's at.
Yep,
yeah, like
710 just put the weight. The weight.
Yeah.
He knows, 710 knows about that.
Right.
He knows the difference between the copper weight and silver weight. You know, he knows that silver's heavier than copper.
Right. So, I mean, like I said, Now, what's the chance of what I've got up there being silver compared to being aluminum? Because I mean, it bends easy like aluminum.
Well,
Like aluminum.
you got to
And it's 18
consider
it is
how a lot of
1888.
houses were not being built with aluminum wiring way back then. They were being built with silver wiring. Mobile homes were mostly built with aluminum wiring. Mobile homes,
Okay.
trailer houses, years ago.
So it's possible that could be silver wire.
It's possible. It's possible. A
Like
long
I said,
time ago, silver was cheaper than copper. Believe it or not, silver was cheaper than copper
Okay. So when
back
do they
then.
start
Back in the
using-
40s, 30s, and 40s, silver was cheaper than copper because actually, well, you know about the 1943 steel penny? They needed all the copper that they could get for ammunition. And then
Right.
hence your 1944 and 45 Lincoln Wheatie pennies, they were made out of recycled brass shells from the battleships.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
copper shells.
So-
And it's more or less a brass. Instead of pure
Right.
copper, it's brass. But you can
Okay.
tell the color difference in the 44s and the
which-
45s from the 42.
Okay. So, but like I said, this house, I've dated it back to 1908. And like I said, it's got the cloth wrapped insulation on it. I wish I had some of it around when I could show you. I know I've got some of it. I just don't remember where I put it.
Mike Hodge, I think it was Mike. Yeah, Mike said, all Cajun needs is about 400 crawfish bags.
Well, Mike's saying I'm rich. If that's silver, with the price of what silver is, yeah, I probably got about 20, 30 pounds of it up there. As much as they got ran, like I said, there's probably 20, 30 pounds of it up there.
Okay, like
this
say
is-
in your attic, when you go up there, you got junction boxes up there, correct?
I'm getting them in now.
Okay. Well, next time you're up in there, take a length of one. If it's like say a length from a junction box to a junction box, okay? Not something
Okay.
going down in the wall. That's going to be hard to get out and all that. Take your length of silver, whatever, aluminum. Take that length out, replace that length with copper wire.
Okay.
And you take that down. Don't be doing that tomorrow or whatever. Just next time
Right.
you get up there and you're doing some work up there, take a length of that down, and that way you will know if you have it or not. Because aluminum, a 12-foot piece of aluminum wire, 3-wire, whatever, it's going to be light. A 10-foot length of silver wire is going to be heavy because
Yeah.
silver is a lot heavier than aluminum.
Okay. Well, I do know that I had someone look at it. They said, and it looks like to be about 18 gauge.
It's probably 16.
Okay. Well, it's real thin.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I know. That's why the front porch, living room, and dining room are now on their own separate breakers. I've got
Yeah.
a breaker for the living room, which also does the front porch, and then I've got a breaker just
Yeah.
for the dining room.
Yeah, 710 says he'll just about bet that it's aluminum wiring you got. Now, I'm not saying it's silver. I'm just saying that it could be because they used to use silver wiring in homes way back then.
Right.
Beverly Hills, all your rich houses way back then, that was all
Right.
silver because silver was a better conductor of electricity than copper, and
Right.
silver was cheaper than copper.
Well, I
Back then.
remember you mentioned that, on Saturday on the stream and everything. I remember
This
you
was
saying
probably
that.
2 weeks ago we were talking about that. 2 or 3
It
weeks
wasn't,
ago.
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
don't think.
yeah, it was.
Well, all I know is I slept since then, so maybe.
Yeah.
I think we all have. I
Yeah.
gotta be honest. I learned a lot between the rental properties and doing this. And biggest lesson I took away was before going in to do anything, make a checklist of all the known issues.
Of all the what?
Known issues, so that as you're going through fixing things up and things
Right.
start popping up, it's not a hot pot of soup sandwiches.
Yeah.
Because that's what working on this one feels like, is just a cluster
Cluster doodle?
of soup sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah, make you a punch-out list is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that when I was doing the front living room, I had one outlet that it's on the outside wall, and for some reason, electrician, I don't know when they wound up doing it, but they actually went into the closet right in the corner, drilled a hole straight up into the attic, ran a wire from there straight down, drilled a hole in the floor, right down through the floor, up underneath the house, and then straight up where the wall and everything was, and that's where they ran that for its own breaker. So what I wound up doing is I just tied in on that breaker and everything. It's like, okay, fine. Now I got power for the whole living room.
Okay.
That way it's on its own breaker. I did the same thing with the dining room.
I have some rewiring to do in this house too. When I do my insulation, when I start ripping out walls, and it's going to be one at a time, one room,
Right.
one outside wall at a time. Like my front foyer, when you walk in the front door, there's a foyer right there. That's a whole separate room. Then you walk actually into the house, into a cased opening, into the living room area.
Right.
And I think that's where I'm going to have my electronics bench in my office at, right there in that foyer. Well, that's probably going to be the first walls I tear out. I mean, inside paneling. I have wood like mahogany, 4x8 sheets of mahogany.
Right.
It's either a 1/4 inch or 3/8, one of the two. And it's 1/4 inch in the main house.
Right.
Because I still hadn't put all the trim back up yet when I redid all the walls in my house. I've got a rough texture. I've got what they call a skip trowel.
Yeah.
Like it's a southwest style.
Right.
It's a rough texture, almost like stucco.
Yeah.
But it's for the inside.
Hey, 17.
I learned that technique when I was in Arizona.
Yeah. But I was going to say 710 and Mike, no, I'm not going to burn anything down. Simple fact is that, like I said, I found out where that wire, and it's actual Romex. It's an older style Romex. But what I wound up doing is I found out where it was going to, and all I did was I cut and I had it all go into a junction box right there and got all my connectors put in. That way I could run the wire for the light switch and run the wire, because I ran brand new Romex 12.3 off of all that for all the electrical outlets, for the light switch, and for going from the switch to the light itself.
Yeah, ceiling fan and light. You got 12 instead of 14?
Yeah, I went using 12.3.
Okay.
12.3 Romex.
12.2 with a ground, or 12.3 with a ground for a double switch. Because you got to use 12.3 with a ground if you want an on-off switch, like on, like say if you walk in your living room, you got a big living room or a big kitchen. So you walk in there, you have a switch there for on and off for your lights, and then on the other side of the room, you got another switch for on-off, so you can control it from either side.
Okay, it's 12.2.
12.2 with a ground. Yeah, but it's called 12.3. You can call it that.
But yeah, that's what I want to
12.3 with a ground is for a double switch.
Right.
Okay.
So I've got 12. Okay, so I'm running 12.2, which is it's going to have the black, your white,
and the
bare ground.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's
The other one's
that's
gonna be black, white, red,
and the
and a
bare
brown.
ground. Right.
Or black, white, and it's not gonna be green because green's a ground. It
Right.
won't be green. It's gonna be
Right.
red or blue or whatever. Depends on the company.
Yeah. I know, Mike. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure that I've got all the power turned off for them, and then what I'm doing is I'm cutting the connector, with the wire and everything that goes from, say, where it splits off. Because the only thing what they wound up doing back then was they just took the cloth wrap insulation, they stripped it back some, took the other wire, wrapped it around that, and basically took like the old electrical tape and went around it.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
710 said our
boxes.
710 said our state. Actually, it's national code. You have to use 12 for your main wiring, but for your switch, you can use 14.
Right.
From the switch to your light is 14 because actually only kind of like using just one leg of it.
Right.
So, the code is 14 from the switch to the ceiling fan light. But you know what? I'm like the safety man. I wear belts and suspenders. So if I got a lot of 12, because 12 is not that much more expensive than 14. 14's a lot easier to work with. You can bend it easier. It's smaller in diameter. But for a switch, yeah. But like I said, when I tear off all these panels, all this wall, all these cabinets are coming out the back. All that's coming out back there. Everything. Because I'm running PEX down from my attic down. Then I'm going to put my stub out for my angle stops. My water supply for my sink. Because I'm building new cabinets in here.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm doing. That's going to be something else I'm going to be doing is I'm taking out all the copper water lines, and I'm going with that PEX.
Yeah.
So, because I already had the copper line for the hot water heater already bust on it twice in a couple sections. I mean, they were only like 4 feet apart from where they busted. So it's like, no, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to, replace the whole house. But what's a pain is the fact that to go, the yard is not level where the house sits. So on one side of the house, I've got about that much clearance between the ground and the bottom of the floor joists. On the other side, I got about that much room.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the kitchen is on the side with the shallow end. So my mom's bathroom, all that stuff is on the end or on the side of the house. Got plenty of room to work with. So what's going to be a hemorrhoid?
Your pipes are all under the house?
Yeah, they all go under the house.
Okay. Now, I'm going in my attic with mine.
Now,
I'm going to do a manifold.
Under the house.
Your attic's a lot warmer than your house in the winter.
Right.
Then, put it this way. I have no boards or pieces of tin or metal around my house. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't like that look. All right. Which I know in the wintertime it's fine.
Right.
As long as you take it out during the spring, summer, and all that. Now I don't want to make my house look like that. No.
Right.
And a lot of stuff I have under my house now is PEX, but all my replacement stuff. But everywhere that I take off my wall when I insulate, I'm running new wire down, and it's going to be up in the attic. It's going to be terminated. It's just going to be laying there. Or the PEX is just going to be laying there. And I'm going to put a plug in it so nothing can get in.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. You know, I did that already in the back bathroom already. Already reran for the hot water heater going in there because that's the area where the water line busted at. So I've already got the back bathroom. That's all been done already. So now all I got to do is basically uh, from the cold water coming in, all I got to do is split off of that. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4 places? So gonna have for the shower, have for the toilet, and the sink in my mom's bathroom, and then the fourth one will be for cold water, going for the kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that only leaves kitchen sink for hot, bathroom sink for hot, and the shower for hot, or the shower for hot. So I have to do 3 splices for the hot water.
Yeah. Well, my main PEX line is going to be 3/4 coming up in the house, and 3/4 lines up in that one. Okay, I'm going to be coming up from my water meter outside of my house. I'm going to come up in my foyer, or in my foyer, yeah, because I'm away. Well, I got a gable in on my house. I don't have a hip roof.
Right.
So I can come up probably in the corner, right there, and make a little box beam, to hide that pipe.
Right.
And that's gonna come up in my roof, and I don't have to make a connection there. I'm gonna just loop it, and then that's gonna run along the east side of my house on this side. This side, one pipe running through there. And all I got to do is tap off of it with a T one time with 1/2 inch to go down to my cold water. And then it's going to diagonal across my house to the bathroom. And that's going to tee off for the washer. And then it's going to curve around to the sink, lavatory, bathroom sink, and then the tub. And then one drop down to my hot water heater, and then it's going to come up with the hot water, and the hot water is already by there. The longest length I'm going to have is about 20 or 25 feet from it's about 20 feet, and going to the drop down to my stub out for the kitchen sink. Oh, and then I got a faucet in the back.
I'll be right back. I got to put some birds to roost.
All right.
All right, Cajun, I'm hearing some feedback probably from your speakers.
Okay. Let me put in my earplugs.
All right.
Johnny's taking a nap, so no, he's there. Let me just turn it down a little bit. Oh, Mike Hott said his Les Paul has fabric insulation on the wires. On
What
the
year?
inside the body?
Could be.
Yeah, Les Paul that a guitar.
Yep. Yeah, but I was gonna say what year?
Yeah. Oh, that's got to be from the late 50s or something like when the Beatles came out. Yep. John Lennon played a Les Paul.
67.
67. What year is Matt? Oh no, Matt's got a newer Les Paul. Matt's got a new one. The lead guitar player in the band. His is a newer Les Paul.
Oh, by the way, I was talking about you before you came on tonight.
Huh?
I said I was talking about you before you came on tonight.
Oh yeah, all bad. I hope.
But when I was watching that movie UHF with Weird Al.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that yesterday.
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't remember what the coin and everything was, and it's like I was thinking it was a dime. It's like, and the guy was up mentioning it. I go, okay, now I know what the coin was. The 1955 double-dyed Denver wheat penny.
Okay.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc, what's going on, bud?
But yeah, I mean, like I said, that was one of the things. Like, and I could not remember because I know I mentioned it to you, but it's like, yeah, I was talking about that earlier in the broadcast before you came on. Man, it's like, what is? I was trying to remember when I saw the movie pop up on the guide and everything. Oh yeah, let me watch that. That way I can find out what that coin was.
Yeah, you told me yesterday it was a 55 double
Yep.
die Lincoln. A weedy.
Yep.
Like Big T says, a weedy.
And that movie came out in '82.
82.
Yeah.
They have a few shows on TV like Gunsmoke. They had a couple of episodes where, in fact, one of them was with Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock on
Right.
Star Trek.
Yep.
He played an Indian, and his dad found that gold hoard that was it was a robbery from the San Francisco Mint, and they were $50 gold pieces. They call them the rattlesnake coins. They had the rattlesnakes on them, and they were shaped different. And he went around town. I think somebody got killed. His best friend or something got killed, and he paid with that coin. He walked in the saloon with it, and nobody had ever seen a coin like that. So Miss Kitty says, "Sam, check this out." And he said, "Yeah, it's real." And so those coins were being passed around, and that was from a robbery years before that. Years before that. And there is such a coin as that coin. And Hawaii 5-0, they had an episode of the 1913 V-nickel, only 5 in existence.
Wow.
They had an episode on that. They had a coin show in Hawaii, and the guy passed off. He was like, "Oh, can I look at that coin?" Well, actually, all those coins were in a capital holder, about this big.
Okay.
But in the show, naturally it's Hollywood. In the show, they handed him the coin, the nickel, and no dealer's gonna hand anybody that coin because they don't want to get fingerprints on it and all that. Because all these are BU specimens, mid-state 65 or better, like brand spanking new shiny. They don't want no fingerprints on it. Well, this guy, the way he stole that coin, he had a fake that was just like it in that episode of Hawaii 5-0. So he was a magician. So he palmed it off. He switched it. Did the switch, and it got put into a newspaper machine, I think it was. Yeah, newspaper machine. But anyway, I'm not going to explain the whole episode. And they had it was some kind of investigative show, something like Mannix. Remember Mannix?
Yeah.
Years ago. That I don't know if it was Mannix or not, but then they had the St. Augustine coins, okay, and the double eagle gold. Like, it's not popping up. I don't know why.
What, your avatar?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Those coins. There was a guy that had a collection of them, and this old rich man liked to look at them all the time, and he had them in a showcase in his house. Well, his secretary or daughter-in-law or something let somebody steal the most expensive one. And the old man went to look at his coins, and he saw it right away. It was a fake. That's how good of an eye he had in the episode. I think it was Mannix or something like that.
Could be.
There's quite a few TV shows that that show off coins and stuff.
Now, I had a coin years ago. I wish, of course, looking back and everything, I wish I hadn't got rid of it. It was, I found it, and it was, I believe, a $2.50 gold piece.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's
What would the value on something like that be right now?
a lot. A lot of lunch money.
I'll put it like this. I wound up selling it, and I think at that time, I think I was given like $25 for it, and that was back in the early '80s.
Wow. Yeah. Those were
Yeah,
called. Let me see. You got those were called a quarter eagle. Those coins, a quarter eagle,
okay,
$2.50. $5 gold coin is a half eagle. $10 is an eagle. Then a $20. Well, naturally, that's your double eagle.
right. All I know is that,
They worth a few $1,000s.
yeah, I got a feeling that back then, when I got that money and everything for it, it was like, okay, that, I probably should have gotten more money for it, but I was young and stupid and like, okay.
Oh,
But yeah, I was like looking back and everything. That's one coin I wish that I still had, because yeah, I know that coin there that'd be worth some good lunch money.
yeah. They were worth more than the weight of gold, even back in well, actually, like in 80, 81 and stuff, 82. That's when gold and silver spiked. Silver was, it reached $100 an ounce at one point, but it was only for a couple of hours. That
Wow.
was it. Yeah. In fact, me and Ken Peavy, the professor, I got to take my hat off when I say that name, Ken Peavy, God bless his soul. We were talking about one night on one of my live streams how
Hey,
silver
Missy.
spiked. How silver spiked. Oh, they're saying hi, Missy. Oh, you cut that honey kiss up? Oh, she bought a honey kiss cantaloupe from the grocery store.
Uh-oh.
The honey kiss and the sugar kiss are the two sweetest cantaloupes you ever want to buy. And the sugar kiss it's like cotton candy. That's honey kiss.
I mean, yeah.
Honey kiss. Oh.
That's what Johnny.
Yeah. There's a cantaloupe. It comes in a little bag, and it's grown by some farms down in Yuma, Arizona, and in California. And that certain area, they grow the best. Hey, baby. They grow the best cantaloupes, and they have two varieties: honey kiss and sugar kiss. Cotton candy heaven, buddy. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Oh, and that what was that sloppy Boudreaux you were telling me about?
That what? Oh,
was it
sloppy Boudreaux.
Right.
That's old phone.
I checked, and supposedly the HEB by me does carry it, so that's gonna be getting put on the list
Hey.
for shopping for.
Oh man, you talk about a lot better, way better. Now, just because it's a product made in my hometown, that's not why I'm saying this. I'm going by taste.
Right.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't have that strong tomato acid bite to it, like
Right.
Hunt's Manwich or your other sloppy Joe sauces. It doesn't have that real tomato acid bite. It doesn't burn your stomach, put it that way.
Right.
With all that tomato acid.
Right. Well, that's one reason why Crystal and I, we want to try it, and because she doesn't like, now she'll eat tomatoes, like sliced tomatoes and stuff like that, or she'll have like stewed tomatoes, like for like spaghetti or any kind of sauce like that.
Right, right.
But she does not like ketchup. Something with dealing with the way they make ketchup and everything she doesn't like. But she'll eat tomatoes almost any other way. So that's one thing that we're definitely going to be trying this weekend.
Oh, and Cajun Power garlic sauce, the same company,
Yep.
they make a spaghetti sauce in a quart jar. And that's awesome too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're going to be that'd be something we're going to be looking for. When we go to HEB, go shopping, because Crystal's never even heard of HEB till I mentioned it to her.
Oh,
She goes,
okay.
huh? It's kind of like Buc-ee's. She's never heard of Buc-ee's until
Yeah. Yeah. The
you know,
world's
until I
largest
came along.
truck stop.
It's not a truck stop. It's just it's a gas station. It's a super gas station on steroids.
Well, it's a travel stop.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
It's
I
a
mean,
travel
they do
stop.
that-
You get
right.
you got 100 gas pumps, you know.
Yep. Well, that one there, that particular one, is down in Temple, and Brandon, when he was live earlier today, they went right by it, and yeah, that is the largest Buc-ee's in all over, because they've
Right.
got over 100 gas pumps, not
Right.
diesel, but
That's
gas.
a lot.
Yeah. Now the store sizes are about the same size. Okay, it's not the size of the actual physical store. What they count as far as size wise is how many gas pumps they've got. Now, I don't know. I haven't counted as far as how many we've got here in Ennis. I guess someday I'm going to have to maybe go count, maybe talk to the manager, find out how many. But I do know that at ours here, they've got one awning that goes from one end to the other, and that's where it's got the double set of pumps. Okay. The one in Temple, they've got two awnings, so they've got 4 pumps per row instead of 2. So you can get 4 cars lined up in there on one side.
Oh yeah.
So actually, for one set of pumps, you can have 8 cars in there. That's a lot of pump. That's a lot of gas pumps.
It is. Mike Hodge said, "These damn deer ate all my tomato plants. I'm gonna miss a vine ripe tomato this year." I just get with a buddy of yours, get some from him. Man, we are
Also-
tomato poor. We are tomato poor in Eunice. Everybody made a bumper crop this year. Everybody.
Hey, Mike.
I'll
Okay,
send
like
you
I said,
some tomatoes, Mike.
um,
I got me.
do what, Shaggy?
I was saying I got some tomatoes. I'll send Mike.
Okay. But yeah, no, like I said, Buc-ee's. It's like a travel stop, like a almost any of your places like a Love's or what's the other one out there?
Flying J.
You got Flying J. Yeah, Flying J. You've got
Good night,
Love's.
Crystal.
76.
You've got all those. Of course, you got the TA Center, which is what,
TA's, Truckers
right,
of America.
Travel America. Okay,
Travel
you've got
America,
all those.
Truckers America. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically, that's what Buc-ee's is, but they have a whole bunch of gas pumps. Okay, and they've got their own line of souvenirs and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. 710 says there's a Buc-ee's in Orange Beach, and he was just there in Florida not long ago. He says it has over 100 gas pumps.
Right. But like I said, I can actually I can Google it right now.
Uh, the that place is like the size of a super Walmart inside with all your different delis. You got peanuts. You got all kind of little individual vendors in there. You can buy tents, fishing gear, riding reels, tackle, whatever. I mean, it's just look, all the different cakes and pies. The delis in there, your sliced roast beef, your deli slice ham, cheese. They got a cheese store inside of there. several meat stores and food ready to eat and free samples. Hey, if a bum or a hobo goes in there and he tries a little bit of everything, the free samples, he's walking out with a full belly.
Right. Okay. They're supposed to be. Okay. It says they're going to be opening one up in Tennessee. It says Buc-ee's set to open the world's largest convenience store, but not this time in Texas. They're going to be opening up. Opening the world's largest convenience store in Sevierville. Shaggy, you probably, you might know where I'm talking about.
No,
It's in
not really.
74,000 square foot, and
Hold
will
on.
have 120 fueling positions, electric car charging stations, and a 250-foot long car wash.
Geez, Monetti.
Yeah, it says it will. It's going to be bigger than the one in New Braunfels.
Kill.
Mater, did you say
Yeah.
Centerville or Cedarsville?
Sevier, Seivierville.
Seaver.
Yeah, Seaver. I've never heard of that place. I'll have
Well,
to look on
it's-
Google Maps.
It's in Tennessee.
What central part of Tennessee you in? Are you somewhere around like north of Chattanooga somewhere?
Around,
Or
I'm
by
on the-
Nashville?
I'm in that area, the Nashville, Jackson, Knoxville area.
Jackson, Tennessee?
Yeah, that's like a 10-minute drive. But yeah,
My uncle lived over there for years in Jackson. He was from down here in Lions Point, Louisiana. Born. That's my mom's brother. He lived up there. He was the big boss man at the Budweiser plant up there.
Okay, they're saying they have 38 stores here in Texas, and they're expanding throughout the Southeast with newly opened or soon to open stores in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Tennessee. But the one that they've got in New Braunfels, I guess it's a newer one, so it's going to be bigger than the one in geez, can't remember. The one south of here, close to Brandon. But anyways, that one is saying it's at just over 66,000 square feet. Yeah. Temple. That's it's down there in Temple. So undoubtedly the one in New Braunfels, which I'll have to go check out. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend I'll be down that area. I'll have to go check that out.
The Buc-ee's on Beach Express in Alabama is huge.
Is it?
That's what 710 said.
Yeah.
He traveled along the Gulf Coast not long ago. He went to Florida and all that. I figured he'd come down over here in Louisiana somewhere, but I guess he said, before I hit Cajun's neck of the woods, I'm going to head north.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to be. Yeah, Buc-ee's, like I said, it's basically, you go in there, like Cajun was saying, I mean, they've got a station. If you want barbecue, they've got a station to sell barbecue sandwiches. And every now and then you'll hear them going, hot meat on the slab. I mean, you'll see them bring out a big old piece of roast and everything. It's been barbecued about this big around and probably about that thick.
Kill. You can feed 4 people with that.
Yeah.
Cut it in 4.
Yep. But I mean, yeah, you've got the if you want beef jerky, I mean, they got a counter for beef jerky. It's probably about 12 to 15 foot in length, all kinds. You want you got a sweet tooth? I mean, man, they got all
Oh
kinds of
yeah,
different
candies,
fudge.
fudge, all kind of
All
crap.
the
I've seen
fudge.
all them French tarts and all that and everything over there.
Yep, yep,
Man,
they've got that.
I've seen that. Somebody's got a YouTube video and they gave the grand tour. And look, you can get lost in that place. Like I said, if you and your wife walk in, y'all better each have a cell phone. Unless y'all plan on meeting at the car in the parking lot at a certain time. Because you can lose somebody easier in Buc-ee's than you can in Walmart.
Oh, here you go. See how big it is? All right. The Buc-ee's in New Brunswick is the biggest of all. The numbers are impressive. 60 gas pumps, 84 toilets, 80 soda dispensers.
Kill.
Can you imagine it? 84 toilets?
That's a lot of bathrooms. Well,
Yeah.
well, you know, each bathroom's gonna have 3 or 4 toilets each or whatever. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, so you're looking at 12 different, just say hypothetically, 12 or 14, 10 to 14 different restroom areas. So,
Right.
you know, you only a 3-minute walk from each bathroom
Well,
if you have to go bad.
I'll put it like this. If you've never been inside of a Buc-ee's, and I've been in several of them, they are huge. Their bathrooms are huge.
There you
And
go.
I'll put it like this. I went into a Love's, actually when I went down to see Brandon one time, I actually stopped off at the Love's, and it's like, okay, I'm going, okay, who's going to be done next? Walk into a Buc-ee's is like, okay, there's one that's empty. No problem.
I'm gonna do something. Jeremy reminded me. I think it was Jeremy.
Anyway, but yeah, I looked at Google Maps, Mater,
Yeah.
and Seaverville is about 3 to 3.5 hour drive from me, depending on how many times I break the law. But Seaverville also has a lot of tourist attractions, such as Hatfield and McCoy's dinner show. I guess it's like a
Okay.
dinner theater. They've got Titanic Museum. They've got a courthouse that was built upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah, like the roof is the floor and the floor is the roof.
Oh,
That would
okay.
be interesting to look at. Hey, but hey, when you got all those kind of attractions around, that's a perfect place to put a Buc-ee's because you're going to have tourists that are going to
Yeah.
need gas and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you, that's one thing that I like about Buc-ee's is the fact is that you go in there, I think for $1, man, you can get one of those big, I think 32-ounce fountain drinks. Or if you want, you go buy a 20-ounce bottle for $2 and something. Which one are you going to buy? I mean, and they got probably about 5 stations for doing your sodas and about 3 stations for coffee. And it's like, okay. And those places are always packed with, people out driving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know when that one will be completed because they're saying they're building it now. But I'm going, hey, give them time. They'll probably build one closer to you because I know for me that Temple and Madisonville, they were the two closest ones to me. We've got one here in Ennis, and the next one's up in Denton, which is about an hour and a half away from me. But they always try to keep them where they're about 2 hours away, 2 to 3 hours away from each other. And I do know that when Crystal and I, we came back from the DOH rally back in beginning of May, because that started at the end of April, continued into May. So I was like, okay, fine. I knew how much gas and everything I had in the bike. I was like, okay, well, we can make it to the Buc-ee's in Madisonville. We can top off there. That'll get us home. And I wound up pulling in. There wasn't a single pump open. Every single one had a car there, and they had at least 2 cars waiting per pump. And I'm going, no, forget that. So I got back up on the highway, and I was, figuring, okay, how far I can go. Okay, there's another town up the road here I can stop off. That's exactly what I did. Got up on the road, and I think I got to, I think it wasn't Buffalo. I think it was Centerville. I think I got to Centerville, got off the highway. There was the next one. Okay, fine. Pull her up to, now, I think there might have been 1 or 2 cars getting gas. I think out of 10 pumps. So I basically just rode right up to the pump, parked it. Okay.
I just put a link in chat. Jeremy reminded me when he said, I'd just rather an old mom and pop joint. Well, yep. I put that link in there. It's called The Best Kept Secret in Town. That's an old, in fact, Missy's sister was working there. Missy was a teenager, and she was helping her sister cook at that place. And Missy's my age, so, and this old lady's still living. And let me tell you, I'm talking about some awesome burger, $2.50 for a hamburger.
Damn.
Loaded. Okay. Yeah, that's a small burger. It's not a real kitty burger like this big around. It's a regular small hamburger. And I mean, look, oh boy. That's the link to it right there.
All right. But yeah, I mean, now I'll admit that, they do have some good things in there. Their candies are not that bad. They're reasonable. But there are some things that you could walk in there, and because it says Buc-ee's and everything, yeah, you're going to pay some money. Like, things like $25 for a t-shirt, all because it says Buc-ee's on it. Now they do have, now I'll tell you one thing, they do have insulated mugs and everything. I think they got them in 20 ounce or something like that for like $10. I'm going, now that's not bad. But they've got the bigger ones, I think, are like $12 or $13. I'm going, for something like that, comparable to like what you pay for like a Yeti, cooler. Now, how good it is compared to a Yeti, I don't know. But price-wise, I'd rather have that Buc-ee's insulated mug than the Yeti one, because price is going to be a lot better.
I have a Yeti mug, but I won it from I think it was Cheyenne Cigars.
Right.
They do giveaways and all that. If I'm not mistaken, it was Cheyenne I got that mug from.
Yeah, but how much, if you had to go buy one, how much did you pay for that Yeti?
Okay, retail on that Yeti mug is $40.
Right. Like I was saying, yeah, but like I said, I could go here to my Buc-ee's and I could get one for what, $12, $13?
Yeah, Walmart has some. I forget what they called. My cousin bought one and did a test.
Right.
Same amount of ice cubes. Okay, the big square cubes or the little ice maker cubes, the little half moon, whatever, quarter moon.
Right.
Same amount. Same, like 50 ice cubes in each one. Okay.
Right.
Close the lids, and it looks like a Yeti. It has the same I don't know if it has the magnet thing on top. Mine's magnet. My slide. It can't break, you know, like that. Anyway, and it wasn't but that much difference. You know, that's it. I mean that one she did that test with, she's got it on Facebook, and they sell them at Walmart like I think it was $14, like you saying, 12, 14 bucks.
Right.
Yeah. So money for money, pound for pound. Yeah. Now, if you're rich, got the money for a Yeti, well, then if you want to make a presentation or show your style off with a Yeti mug, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That whatever floats your boat or balls your crawfish.
Right. And for
But
me, right. For
I don't
me,
have 40 bucks.
Right. Now, for me, I go in with something. If I want something like that, I can guarantee you one thing. As long as it keeps it cold for, you know, if it'll keep something cold for, say, a couple hours, okay, fine. I'm happy with that because within 2 hours, I should already have that thing all drank. So, I mean, I don't see a use for having something that's going to want to try, you know, a mug like that that's going to try and keep your drink and everything cold, say, for 2 days. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave a soft drink in a damn mug for 2 days. It's going to be flat.
Right.
I mean, 3 hours would be about the most that it'd be in there. Because for me, I get it filled up, I'm going to be drinking it.
Jeremy, what part of the country are you in? Because IGAs are mostly in the South, and he's talking about a Mennonite store. Because over above Lake Charles, around D. Ritter and all, they have a nursery there that's run by Mennonites. You give them your seeds, like for watermelons or cantaloupes, you give them your seeds to grow for you, and they only charge you like $0.10 a plant. But you're going to get nice, if you don't have a greenhouse and you want to plant 2,000 plants, if you're a watermelon farmer, cantaloupe farmer, like around the Sugartown area, where we get our Sugartown melons from. I didn't sell this year. Didn't have the money to invest in buying a load of watermelons. Well, anyway, $0.10 a plant, that's cheap, you know, and they give you nice, healthy plants grown in their greenhouses. And they got Mennonite stores there too, where you, they kind of like the Amish, you know. But
he said
Mennonites,
in Southwest Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin? Because we got Mennonites down here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you go buy all your fresh produce from them, whatever, you know, flour that they make themselves, cornmeal they make themselves. Oh yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, now the Igloo, yeah, that was you know, Igloo, yeah, they were I think they were comparable to like Coleman as far as coolers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and of course, right, as far as ice chests and stuff like that. But then, like I say, you start getting Yeti, and I know there's a couple others out there that started doing them also, and it's like I do know I've seen a guy, he did a comparison on different ice chests and everything to see how each one would be and how long each one would hold, you know, have ice and everything in it. And I can't remember which one it was, but he had one that had a Yeti and everything, and that Yeti, it didn't even make it. I forget which one it was, but he actually had one that had actual ice still floating in the water longer than a Yeti.
Huh. I remember when Coleman had out those 4-day coolers.
Yep.
That was their nickname, 4-day or 5-day cooler.
Yep.
A buddy of mine bought 3 of them to shrimp with. on
Yep.
the shrimp boat. And well, naturally, what's the most important thing when you're catching shrimp?
Keep it on ice.
Ice. Right.
Yep.
So
I know.
he went
Right.
and
I
bought them
know.
Coleman 4-day coolers or whatever. Man, them things held ice for, a long time.
Depends upon if you don't buy enough, Mike.
That's right. You ain't buying enough beer.
if it only lasts for one night, you ain't bought enough. But I do know that some of those shrimp boats are now coming with their own ice makers on board.
There's not a lot of call for that because a lot of your shrimp boats now, your big 100-foot slabs out there,
Yeah.
they it's IQF. They instant freeze their shrimp and then they put them in the freezer hole and they use them in crawfish sacks. They put them in crawfish sacks.
Okay.
I've seen one shrimp boat that had an ice maker on it, and
Well-
the ice maker was in the ice hole down there. But usually they just get ice blown on the boat, from the ice plant. Now, if you do have an ice maker, which is fine, but there's soft ice too.
Right.
That ice, when they blow that ice and you put it in them insulated holders, the ice bins on the shrimp boats,
Right.
it actually gets froze solid where you have to use an iron pick. It's a sawtooth pick about 8 inches wide, a foot wide. You have
Right.
to actually chip that ice after a certain amount of days, and then you start throwing that ice. And
Yeah.
the only bad thing about an ice maker on a boat is that it's real soft ice. It's going to melt real fast.
Okay.
Them IQF boats, it's a brine water, heavy salt water, and it's circulated.
Right.
And it's below zero. I mean, below 32. It's right at zero, but that 0 degrees. But that salt water doesn't freeze as fast as fresh water.
Right.
And they have a heavy brine in there. That's why you see on them shrimp boats when they make videos, they got all them yellow bags on the bow
Right.
or on the stern, whatever. That's all bags of salt. And just so happened in Delcom in South Louisiana, they got so many salt mines down here along the Gulf Coast. Salt's cheap down here.
Yep.
You can buy a 50-pound bag of ice for like $3,
Jeez.
$2 or $3.
Yep.
I mean, salt.
Yeah.
50-pound bag of salt, $3. Did I say ice earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you throw so many bags and all that water, and it's got circulators in it, little motors. Buddy of mine, he made his own brine tank, and he had a trolling motor in it that would keep the water circulated, like on a bass boat.
Right.
It was a little hand controlled trolling motor, and that's what he used to keep it circulated. And I tell you what, I had some beer on the boat, and they were getting a little. I was running out of ice, and he says, "You just throw that in the tank." So I threw it in the tank. He said, "Don't leave it in there more than 45 seconds." 30 seconds, I took it out. That beer was ice cold inside
Wow.
that can. Yeah. Yeah, it don't take but a minute or two to instant freeze a 40-pound bag of shrimp.
Damn.
Yeah. The instant freeze.
Yep.
And all that salt water in there, all the shrimp are not frozen in a block. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about? They're not in
yeah.
a block. They individually quick frozen. And you can, if you want, say, a dozen of shrimp for supper, just pick you out a dozen of shrimp out of it. That's it. It's
Go-
that easy. They're all loose in that bag, that crawfish
Right.
sack. 20 pounds of ice here is $4. Yeah, I figured I said ice instead of 50-pound bag of salt.
Yeah.
Oh no, 20-pound bag of ice down
Yeah.
here is a buck. They got
Yeah.
these little ice plants you go to. You throw in $1 or $1.50, and it'll spit you out a 20-pound bag of ice.
Yep, we
Or
got those
they
here.
got empty bags, and you have to have that bag there on that chute ready. And
Yep.
then it drops 20 pounds of ice or 25 pounds of ice, 25 pounds in that bag. Or
Yep.
an ice chest. You can
Yep.
dump it in your ice chest. Have all your beer in the bottom or whatever, and just dump the ice on top of it.
Yep. You get a lot. You do get a lot at one of those. We got about 2 of them here in town.
Yeah.
Hey, Shaggy,
We
I
had
see you
one.
dropped out, so you have a good one. And stay safe yourself.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming up.
Clean the kitchen and lay down. There you
Yep.
go. That's a nice
I know
little
I'm gonna
place you
have
got
to-
going up there, Shaggy.
Yep.
That's gonna look good when you finish with it.
I know I'm going to have to shut this down because it's 10 o'clock and someone's supposed to be getting off work, and that means I got to go pick him up
Right,
because Crystal, she's not dressed for going back out.
right. Yeah. But like you said earlier, he's quote unquote supposed to get off at 10, but sometimes he can't get out the building till 10:30. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, I do. I think there was
Night,
only
Brad.
one time I've ever gone over there, and he was actually waiting outside. Only one time.
I read today that Walgreens in San Francisco or in California, that San Francisco area,
Yeah,
shut down their 10th store.
really.
Close shop. Yeah, there's some kind of new law. Well, we all know who runs or whose territory San Francisco is, right?
Yeah,
As a congresswoman or whatever.
yeah.
Well, there's some kind of new law that stealing is a misdemeanor and they can't hold you or whatever. There's not enough room in the jails and all this. And Walgreens employees, they are told not to interfere with if somebody steals. People are going in there with suitcases, trash bags, army duffel bags, and loading up and just walking out the door.
And employees are not supposed to try and stop them.
Yeah, but by the time the police come, they gone.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you, here in Texas, that
It's on the
wouldn't happen.
news. It's on the news. Google it. It's on the news. They closed their 10th store down, Walgreens. They're not opening back up neither until they say the laws get right.
That ain't right. Of course, look at everybody that runs California.
Hello?
Yeah, you look at, everybody that's, in power out there and everything and how they're wanting to run it is like, really? How freaking stupid are you? It's like, what kind of crack are you putting in that pipe and smoking?
Yeah, there you go. Said that right.
Yeah. And I'm going, theft is theft no matter what. I guarantee you that I remember a while back I had to go pay a fine to city because I hadn't had a chance to get my yard mowed. And I'm sitting there and talking to this one lady, and she'd gone to Walmart, okay, done her shopping and everything, went to the self-checkout, paid for everything, walked out. They called the cops on her because she forgot to scan a case of Dr. Pepper, okay? They came in and took her to jail, and she had to go before the judge and pay a fine over a case of Dr. Pepper. Now, yeah, Yeah, Jeremy, and if you actually look at that was actually talked about last night on the live stream I watch on Tuesdays dealing with bikers and everything. Uh, yeah, but look at who it was as far as what uh, let's just say they weren't red, they were all blue. That was the whole thing. As far as you look at as far as what I'm trying to think of the word. I'll say it like this: they were all Democrats, okay, and that's the problem out in California. It's a Democrat-run state. Same way with a few others around, and yeah,
The jackasses.
yeah. So yeah, that was now. You didn't have any Republicans doing any of that, but Democrats, yeah, they'll do all that kind of BS.
I mean, it's a shame though what our country's coming to right now.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's a crying shame.
Yep, and it's kind of like on the when I watch that, the live stream on Tuesdays dealing with the biker news and everything. They don't say President so and so. They go, "Oh, that's Mr. Potato Head."
I don't think Texas will ever go blue all the way.
No, I don't think it ever will. I tell you what I'd like to see Texas do is we got a group right now that they're getting strong, okay, and they're going around, and what they're wanting to do is they're trying to see about getting Texas to succeed and become its own country again.
Louisiana's going to follow suit too.
Yep, and I guarantee you one thing. Hey, I guarantee you one thing. If Texas leads the way, I almost guarantee you there's going to be several other states going, we're next.
Just about your whole Gulf South and Arkansas, naturally.
Yep.
It's going to be in there. It's not a Gulf state, but it's close enough to it.
Yep. So basically, you're going to have another, Confederate States of America going again.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. But I guarantee you there's probably going to be other states that weren't Confederate at that time. I can almost guarantee you that we'd be bringing a whole bunch more with us. And, it's like the South has, got the supplies and everything this time for a better fight than we did last time.
Yeah. The North had the steel factories, the foundries. Now the South has a lot. Birmingham, Alabama, there's steel factories. We have all the textile factories in the South now.
Right.
There were a lot of the Fruit of the Loom and the Garren's sewing factories down here.
Yep.
Guess what? A lot of them shut down.
Yep.
It's empty buildings. But I guarantee you, it won't take much to open them back up.
Oh no! And the thing about it with 1860s, okay, the South, we were agricultural, okay, so we had the raw product, okay, for everything.
We had the cotton, and up north they had the textile factories.
Right, they had the textile. We had all the raw material, so we were sending it up north, and they were the ones that were doing the manufacturing and then sending everything back down here as a finished product. Okay. Now, at this time, hey, we've got the factories down here to make that stuff.
Hey, and guess what? We got them by the balls in the South. You know why?
Oh yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's totally different than the 1860s. Because we have a lot more, like you were saying earlier. But guess what we have, and we have them by the balls on it. They have to buy it or import it on tankers. We don't. Oil.
Yep.
We have the refineries.
Yep. And Texas has got the most refineries in all the United States. Look at Beaumont. Look at you know, down there, you know, all south of Houston area.
Yeah,
That's all basically
Texas
oil
City,
refineries.
Texas City.
Yep.
You got Beaumont. No, not really. Port Arthur, Bridge City, right below Beaumont.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, Port Arthur, Bridge City, Groves, all that area down there. Port Neches.
Yep.
Lake Charles, Sulphur, Baton Rouge, New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Alabama. Okay, now we have a lot more. I think Louisiana is the #1 in oil on the Gulf Coast.
Yep.
For producing off the Gulf Coast with the platforms out there. If you go out of Golden Meadow, I think you talked about that one time, or somebody was going out of Golden Meadow, or you can go out of Venice, out of the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
You can go. You can see at night. It looks like cities out in the Gulf.
Yep.
All the platforms and all that. It looks like cities out there with all the platforms and. And then they have their own refineries out there too.
Yep. I've seen them.
So, but you go 20 miles because you can see over the water 10 miles. Okay.
Yep.
At night, you can see a little bit more. You can see the lights. And then you go 10 more miles further, then you're still seeing them. You're still seeing them. But you go 100 miles out and that's it. I mean, everything's lit up like a city from the mouth of the Mississippi, because Mississippi itself doesn't have offshore drilling and all that.
Right.
The state of Mississippi. No, and Mississippi Sound, there's no platforms, nothing out there, nothing. Yep. And their Gulf Coast has just a few, not many, just a few.
Yep.
And those are in Louisiana waters, actually. So the horseshoe rigs and all out there. But from the mouth of the Mississippi on west, that's all you see out in the Gulf.
Yep.
Then when you hit the Texas waters, then the lights start dimming. You know, there's not a lot.
I remember
most all that's getting shipped into, like you say, Port Arthur, Bridge City, that area, Texas City,
Yep.
And that place got blowed up a long time ago in the early 1900s. It knocked wiped them off the map.
Yep.
With a fertilizer ship.
Yep.
I think it was ammonium nitrate or something.
Yep, I remember that.
And then, North Dakota, they can't get oil and gas from North Dakota, South Dakota, and all that, and Pennsylvania. But we still have more than they got.
Oh, yeah.
All we got to do is open the valves. You know, we have a lot, but we can have a lot more. All we got to do is open the valves. There's a lot of shut-in wells out there. We do not have to buy oil from overseas.
Nope.
We're smart. We smart. We keeping our reserves, and we buying it cheaper than we can drill it. Yeah, but we don't need to.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, okay, here's the thing, okay? Like you were saying up there in Wisconsin, I'll agree with you, okay? Now, has Wisconsin learned its lesson as far as on something like that? Because come election time, put your vote out there. Because if you don't like that governor, that's fine. When it's time for re-election or whatever, you can vote him out. That's all it takes. Get enough fed up people with it going on, as long as you're not using one of those voting machines, like on this last presidential election.
Yeah, electronic crap.
Yeah, as long as you've got
that mailing stuff, and all that, Yeah.
So as long as everything goes on the up and up, then he'd be going bye-bye.
Okay, look what Jeremy put. Okay, when this certain fellow, cheeky fellow, first day in office, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Why are we sending them money to build a pipeline from Russia to Europe? We are supplying money to do that, but our pipeline is shut down.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And the wall.
Yeah.
They put in a wall around Jordan and all that to keep immigrants out and all that in Jordan,
Yep.
Syria, whatever. But now the wall is being continued again because of Texas funding.
Yep.
Look at all the material that was laid down, that's laid on the ground. The materials are there for the wall in Texas. The
Yep.
material is there. Electronic equipment and all that, just in these buildings, people are going in, stealing equipment, okay? Like the Walgreens pharmacies in California. They just going in there, you know, that they trying to, they're getting shot. But
Yep.
no, our wall is stopped. But we sending money, billions of dollars overseas to build a wall. We are sending billions of dollars to build a pipeline from Russia to Europe. But our pipeline is shut down. No
Yep.
sense at all.
And see, Jeremy, that's something that can't be done. You cannot go against the Constitution. The Constitution is, you know, anything that a state or, you know, a governor or city or whatever, they try to come up with a law that goes against it, it's null and void. They cannot, no, you cannot go against the Constitution. That right there, Constitution, that is the law. You cannot, no, you can't go against it. You cannot change it. Just because you don't like the way it was written over 200 years ago, no, that's what this country is founded on.
Yeah.
You
You
don't
know,
like
they
it?
spend. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, if you don't like it, there's the door. Get your ass out of here. Plain and simple.
They spent, I forget how many millions of dollars in the past 70 years to protect the Constitution, okay, from a nuclear bomb and all this, you know, to protect the paper itself, okay. All that, it goes down at night in a sealed vault, you know, nuclear proof, all that and everything. And they have an emergency button and everything that it will go down during some kind of whatever, like for 9/11. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We spent millions and millions of dollars, you know, with all the high tech security cameras, all that vault, all that stuff. Now, but we are paying $400,000 a year to a guy that's trying to disassemble the Constitution.
Yeah, that's right.
Something like that, Mike Hodge. Yeah, something like that. I don't know the whole story on Hunter, but yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I mean, that's something that America needs to stop doing, is sending out money for overseas stuff like that.
Take care of our own people.
Yeah, we need to take care of our own people. And like I said, that's one thing about here in Texas, is that you've got a group that is trying to get it to where Texas will be basically on our own. It's like basically giving the finger to Washington, D.C. and say, here, kiss our mule.
Uh-huh.
And I'd love to see that happen. To be honest, I would love to see that happen. It's like, fine, shut down the borders, you know, shut down 35 going in Oklahoma, same way with any kind of, you know, major highway in and out, any roads in and out of Texas. I don't care if it's a highway, small country road, whatever. Shut it down, put up a border crossing. You want to come into Texas? Show a passport.
Unless you live in a neighboring state.
Nope. If you live in a neighboring state, sorry, passport.
Dang, I won't be able to go see all my cousins in Texas, in Southeast Texas.
Oh, you go see him. Just gotta bring a passport with you.
Dang. I got
All
a
right.
lot of family down in Port Arthur and Bridge City. A lot.
Well, hey, do like what they do on the cruise lines. If you ain't got a passport, birth certificate, and driver's license.
There you go. I got that. Well, hell, I was born in Port Arthur. My birth certificate says I was born in Port Arthur. My mom was visiting my grandma when I decided to scramble out the egg.
But you
She
got
was over there
Louisiana.
visiting,
Right.
helping her. She broke her hip or something, and she was over there helping out. She's big and pregnant with me, you know. And April 7, 1964, that's when I decided to, you
Make
know,
your presence
God,
known.
God bless Texas. I came out saying that, I guess, in French though, in the
Yep.
French language.
But yeah, I mean that. I tell you, that is something. I would like to see happen if that. If we did go that route, because I mean, yeah, we need to do something. Someone needs to step up and basically tell everybody up there in Washington D.C., hey, you don't like it? Fine. Screw you and the horse you rode in on.
Hey, the best political ad commercial on TV I've ever seen was that. What's that guy's name in Texas? He's a Crenshaw.
Oh,
He's ex-military.
uh,
I want to say Crenshaw.
no, not
I know.
Crenshaw.
I know I'm not far from it. I think he wears an eye patch or something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I've seen the thing on Facebook. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
He's got the best political commercial I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Where he's trying to build this team, you know. It's like a 2-minute commercial, which, he pays a lot of money to air that on TV or
Right.
whatever. Or he did like little a 30-second commercial, and then say a week later or a day later there's another extra 30-second clip to that commercial or what. I don't know how he did it, but Dan Crenshaw, retired SEAL. Yeah, Navy
Right.
SEAL. There you go. He was building a team, but that's the best commercial I ever seen. Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, that was his name. Google Dan Crenshaw's political commercial and you'll see it in whole. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome.
But yeah, I mean that is the biggest problem that we've got right now, is that you've got a generation that wants to change things in America. It's like, hold it. If it ain't broke, don't
fix it.
Yeah, don't try and fix it. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't worry about it. Plain simple.
Now, look, when I was younger, my dad was a Democrat. Okay. When I signed up for voting, I was a Democrat. But when I voted for president, my first presidential election, my first vote was for Ronald Reagan. My dad said, why you voted for Reagan? Because you killed my vote. I said, because he's the better man for the job. That's why. And then I changed to independent. I vote for whoever the hell I want for. You know what I'm talking about. Now, back then, Democrats, okay, Kennedy was a Democrat.
Right.
And there's a meme, whatever you call it, a little picture with a caption on it.
Right.
And there's JFK, President JFK, saying, what have you done? What have y'all Democrats done to my party?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he was a good president. I mean, it wasn't like that back then. Okay. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or Republican. In the 60s, 70s, 60s and 50s, 60s, 70s. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat. Everybody got along.
Yep.
You know.
Now that ain't happening.
The actor? Yeah, I know what you meant, 710.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan. The actor, like on Back to the Future with
Yep.
Doc Brown. Ronald Reagan, the
Marty
actor.
McFly. Hey, one thing I did hear is like, oh really? I'd love to see that happen. I heard that Donald Trump's going to run for Speaker of the House.
When?
Sometime soon, from what I heard. I'm going. Hey, I'd love to see him get that old bat out of there.
It's a witch.
Well, at least we know where the Kung Flu came from. That's one thing I remember. I seen one of those memes and everything, and it said, yeah, the COVID-19 came from an old bat, and so showed Pelosi says, I had nothing to do with it.
Mhm. Oh, speaking of old bat and a witch, San Francisco is under her in her territory.
Yeah,
Where when she was a congresswoman or whatever way back when, yeah,
Yeah.
that's her area. Okay, Tent City, Serene City, they call it now.
yeah. I think the best thing to do is get a couple of nuclear warhead rockets, about 2 or 3 of them, and have them go out there and explode right there on the San Andreas fault line.
Oh, just separate them, huh? For good.
Yeah, just get them on out there, kind of like the Snake Plissken escaped from L.A.
Yeah, well, you know what? It doesn't have to be nuclear. It could be a Moab, mother of all bombs. Drop a
Yeah.
couple of them on the fault lines, and that way we'll have good, brand new oceanfront property.
Yep, get some oceanfront property out there in Arizona.
Yeah. And that way it's non-nuclear, so we can still use it on the Arizona side.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Nevada wouldn't have to fight to try and get water anymore.
Yeah.
They have it
well,
all right there in the ocean. All you
well,
do
Nevada.
is build a plant.
Isn't Nevada in the CAP program?
That I don't know.
I thought Nevada was in the CAP program. The California
They could be.
Arizona project. California Arizona project.
Yeah,
It's
they
the
could be.
water. It's the water that they did, and actually they took over the old Indians from Arizona. They had irrigation systems in Arizona, like above Tucson and all that, going toward like the Salt River and all that. It's not salt, but they just call it the Salt River. The old Indians from way back when, they had their own irrigation system that baffled scientists now. How did they do that? There's a lot of manpower. The people pitched in together. Nobody was against each other.
Right. All right. Well, I gotta shut this down because it's already going on 10:30, and I gotta go pick Chris up from Jack in the Box. So, hey, Cajun, I appreciate you coming on here. Of course, I had Wayne on earlier.
Oh, sorry I was late, but I was doing something.
Yeah, of course, I had Shaggy on earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a forum for small engines and stuff, so
right.
I answer people's questions. I tell them what's wrong with their mowers or what could be wrong with it.
Right.
The simplest solutions. Yeah, I've been doing that now for, I don't know, 6 years on that forum, 7 years, something like that.
All right. Well, Mike Hodge, Jeremy, 710. Hey, I appreciate you guys being here, but like I said, I gotta shut this down so I can go pick the package up from Jack in the Box and get back here and get ready for work in the morning.
Get you some of them chili cheese fries while you're
there. I had a nice dinner. It was okay.
Yeah. Missy cooked a beef roast tonight, engraving, Cajun style. And I think I got step-by-step video, step-by-step how to pork pork roast or chuck roast. One of the two, or chuck steaks. One of the two, how to do the gravy and all that.
Yeah.
And there's no kitchen bouquet in it neither.
Yeah.
All right, look,
All right.
everybody. As always, look here. Love, peace, and crackling grease. I'll catch y'all. Plutarch. Later.
I appreciate it. All right, guys, I gotta get going. 'Cause like I said, I gotta go pick him up. And Crystal, she's sending me a text saying, "Go get him." So, till next time, I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. Had a good time. So, till then, y'all take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.